This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a speedy start as you see a wildebeest that is slowly but surely trotting away from us. Now, it is a very, very, very warm welcome to the schools that are joining us this afternoon. So to Arrowhead, Pembroke and Shelton Park Elementaries, I hope that you're going to have the most wonderful time with us as we explore the African wilderness here in South Africa and in Kenya's Masai Mara. Now, my name is Tristan, and on camera I've got Craig. And remember that we want you to ask as many questions as possible. Now, give them to your teacher, and your teacher will send them through to us, and we'll try and answer as many as possible. Our unfortunate thing is that our wildebeest has run away a little bit, so I'm going to try and see if I can see it once again, and maybe we can get a better view of it. It is a boy wildebeest that is running away from us. Often find them on their own in places like this as they go in search of girl wildebeest that hang around, and they like to sit mostly on open clearings where they can then kind of see predators coming, because things like lions and leopards and wild dogs, well, they love to eat wildebeest, and so where a wildebeest is, often there can be predators, and so these open clearings much easier to see. But wildebeest is not a very clever animal, unfortunately. In fact, it's a rather dense animal, and so it's now run into the thicket where it's going to be far more at risk than it was if it had just stayed in the open. In fact, the fact that it was scared of us is probably not a good thing for its general well-being. So I don't know where it's disappeared to. It was somewhere here. I'm not going to go off-road for it because we will just frighten it more. So it was a brief view of a wildebeest, I'm afraid. We'll try and see if we can find some more. There are some females that have been hanging around the last few weeks, and so maybe we will get lucky and we will find some of them. So Dontavius, the biggest animal that I've ever run into. Well, Dontavius, I can promise you that I have very seldom that I actually have run into an animal. Animals generally, when you run towards them, typically run away, and so you don't really run into them very much. But the biggest animal that I've driven towards, well, that would be an elephant. So that would be the biggest one that I've seen here in this area. Is a big elephant male that can be very, very heavy. They can weigh almost 15,000 pounds, which is crazy when you think about it. But then if you go into the oceans, the biggest animal that I've seen there is a whale. And so here in South Africa, we get two very big whales, the humpback whale and the southern right whales. And I've seen them as well, but again, that was not running, that was swimming when I got to see those. So it just depends on where you are and what you're doing and what activity you're doing. But in terms of running, if you were running out here, you wouldn't want to run into an elephant or a buffalo or a rhino, because they can be very, very dangerous, and so you have to be very careful about those animals. They see humans almost like a predator, and so if they feel like they're threatened, they're going to try and hurt you, and so you have to kind of stay away from them a little bit when you are out here. And so running in this part of the world is probably not a very good idea. You can walk around here, yes, but you have to walk here after you've done lots of qualifications and you've learnt about the animals and how to approach them, so that if you see any signs that they are not happy with you, that you can get yourself out of there before you irritate that animal too much and it becomes aggressive towards you. So it's always good out here. As good advice is to rather walk and take it very, very slow, and to be accompanied by somebody who is a professional and knows exactly what they are doing. Right, now our plan for the afternoon, now that our wildebeest ran away and we've spoken about running, is that we are going to slowly kind of bumble, which is a word for driving slowly. We're going to head towards a waterhole that's not too far away. We're going to try and see if we can find some elephants actually, and see if they may be swimming or having a drink. In the meantime though, I'm going to send you all the way north to Kenya and the Masai Mara, where my good friend David, he's out and about, and I'm sure he's going to be looking for all kinds of wonderful things to show all of you.
Welcome to our afternoon drive, because most likely where you are, it is in the morning. Where we are here, we're in a different country called Kenya, and it is in the afternoon here. It's about 5 o'clock Kenyan time, or what we call East African time. And my name is David, and on camera with me today is Archie, and I hope all you boys and girls are doing very well. Welcome to our drive, and we're very excited to have you on board today. And we have started some different animals. You're watching some wildebeest, but have also types of antelope, but these ones have a different animal because a different name, because we call them toppies. Now let's have a look at toppies and see why they're different from the wildebeest that you just had a few minutes ago. Now, look at their horns; they're much smaller, and you see those two youngsters there staying so close together. And just like the wildebeest, they also live in groups. Now, looking again at the differences between the two, look at their colors. The wildebeest have like one general dark color. This one have like two different colors. It has a brown, and it also have a gray on the sides of the legs. Now you see they're eating, not moving a lot, because it's not as warm as it is in South Africa or in Juma, because where we are here in Kenya, we are 28 degrees Celsius and 83 degrees Fahrenheit. It's much cooler than it is in Juma. So that one had a little scratch there, and when they scratch themselves like that, if it's not just being itchy, maybe there could be some sort of parasite there. Now look at the shape of the horns. They're a little different from what you saw earlier with the wildebeest. But most important, looking at the commonalities between these two, they're both herbivores. Herbivores are animals that eat, in general, anything green, from grass to leaves to twigs to the branches. Those are what we call herbivores. Now this particular one here is eating the short grass. The short grass because it is nutritious and it's green. Look at how beautiful it is. Now, Everett, that's a very good question, and you'd like to know why they got horns. Now, in general, these particular antelopes, both males and females, when I'm talking about males, I'm talking about boys. When I'm talking about females, I'm talking about girls. They will have horns, and because they use the horns sometimes to fight. It's not a very good thing to do, but in general, the boys always tend to fight once in a while. They tend to go for each other. So the horns tend to help them. They use them like their weapons to fight. But should they also need to dig the ground, they'll also use their horns to dig the ground. Now, most important, boys and girls, we always request you one thing, and I'm sure my friend already told you: questions, comments. Please keep asking questions like that question I just had, but maybe not why is that one having to poo now. It's because it's time to have a poo. And if you have a nice comment, wow, those antelopes look wonderful, please send them, and I'm sure you know how to do that using your teachers. So remember, these ones are called toppies, and both boys and girls, or both males and females, have horns. Isn't that beautiful? Now, we've got so many friends that you're going to meet today, and I'll take you back all the way to South Africa to my friend Oli, who will say hello to you and show you maybe something different.
Hello everyone. Welcome to SafariLive Sunset Safari. I'm sitting right next to the place where elephants love to hang around these days. But today I'm so unlucky because there's nothing happening. 2 days ago we had elephant splashes everywhere. My name is Oli. Joining me behind the camera is Senzo. We are coming to you live from the western side of the Kruger National Park in South Africa. And for any questions or comments, please don't hesitate, don't be shy, don't be scared. Type hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or YouTube chat stream for any questions and comments. So my plan for today is to be with kids for 45 minutes from now. We have kids. So let's quickly go to Tristan. He's found the head of elephants, and then I will try to introduce myself more after that.
Well, when we unfortunately have found elephants. You haven't had much luck, but we've had a lot of luck in being able to find some ellies. We were driving down the road and they were all over the place. Now you see this female here. She is posturing at us. Now, what posturing means is that she's showing us that we are as close as she wants us to be. She doesn't want us any closer than that. So she turned her head, lifted her ears, and showed herself as if to say, you are as close as I want you. I don't want you any closer than that at all. And you just stay where you are. This female is doing the exact same thing. So she's lifting her head, and that's trying to impress upon me that she is as big as she is. And the reason she's doing that is to allow safe passage for her baby behind. At the end of the day, they want their babies to be as protected as possible, and so they'll cross between us and them, and they'll try and make themselves bigger so as the little babies don't feel threatened in any way whatsoever. Once they move a little bit and they find a bit of space and they get a little bit further away, then they'll start to calm down, and once the baby joins with the rest of the herd particularly, then things get a little bit better. Now, there is a very, very, very small baby in amongst all of these elephants, and I think that's why they're a little bit on the kind of edgy side. So when I say edgy, they're a little bit more kind of unrelaxed than normal. A lot of our ellies here are generally quite relaxed, and the reason why is because they aren't hunted or poached or anything like that, and haven't been for quite a number of years, and that makes them a lot more relaxed with our presence. They know that we're not something that threatens them, and elephants are very, very clever animals. And so when they know that we're not threatening them, then they're quite happy with our presence. But if there's a tiny newborn baby in amongst the herd, then the ellies can be a little more kind of defensive of everything, and can often be a little bit more sort of, what's the word for it? I suppose it's not aggressive is not the word, because elephants, when they are aggressive, are very different creatures, but they can be a little bit more kind of proactive about keeping us at bay. Now, sorry, Kirst, I just missed you there. The car just revved a little bit high, so I missed your part of the question. I just heard Charlie, but I didn't hear the question, I'm afraid. Okay, so Charlie, their tusks are very, very strong. Basically, what their tusk is a modified tooth, all right? And so you know on your teeth, if you tap it with your finger, your teeth is very, very, very hard. And it's the same thing with a tusk. That tusk is a very thick tooth, and it needs to be very strong, because these guys will feed on roots and they'll feed on bark, and they'll need those to break those roots and that bark, and to be able to then get them out of the ground or off the tree. And so it has to be a very, very strong. And in the males, it has to be strong in order for them to be able to fight, so that they can establish who is the biggest and the strongest of the elephants, so that he can get all the girl elephants. And so the boys will fight quite a bit when they do that. So those tusks are very strong. I've seen those tusks go right through a car, so go into a car and kind of make big, big holes. So that'll give you an idea of just how strong those tusks can be. You must remember, an elephant is a very, very strong animal. It's got a big body and lots of muscle. And so when they put all that weight behind those tusks, they can do a lot of damage. So you have to be a bit careful with elephants. And it's why when an elephant warns us like that, when she opens her ears and looks at us, it's important to remember that those are the signs that the elephant is saying, I want you to stay where you are. And so you need to listen to those signs and not get too close. And that's why we haven't moved closer than what we are now. We're listening to that female because she was saying that's why we must stay here. Now, ants, why do they have big ears? Well, ants, because it gets very hot here in Africa. At the moment this afternoon it's 30 degrees Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's considered not a very hot day. Sometimes it can get over 120 degrees Fahrenheit here, and for a big animal like that, it's going to get very, very hot very quickly, and so it needs something to be able to cool itself down. And so what happens is those ears have a whole big network of veins that goes through the ears, and as they flap, it's pulling wind over those veins that are covered by a very, very, very thin layer of skin. If you've ever taken a piece of tissue and you feel how thin it is, that's how an elephant's ear feels over those veins, and it cools that blood down and it sends the cooler blood back into the body, and it's like an air conditioning system for the elephants out here, and they need that to survive. The other good thing about having big ears is it allows them to hear very well. Remember that there's a lot of sounds that are out here, and so these guys are able to then hear lions and leopards and hyenas and all the potential animals that could be dangerous to them. Now they have moved a little bit, so we can go a little bit closer now. As they move, so we'll move, and we'll try and get some nice kind of views of them as we go. Like I said, I don't want to go too close because otherwise she's going to get a bit grumpy with me, and I don't want to make her grumpy. The idea is to be out here to view them in a nice relaxed fashion and to not actually make them grumpy at all. But I want to try and see if I can show you the tiny little baby because it's very, very cute. I reckon it's only been born in probably the last week or two, maybe even not a week, maybe only a few days. I'm just trying to see if I can see it. I think it's already further into the bush. It's maybe why the Ellies kind of walked in that way, is to try and protect that little one. Nyla, so the elephant babies, well, they at birth, when they are born, they will weigh about close to about 200 to 300 pounds. So very, very heavy is the answer to that. Much heavier than us as people. You can see one of the little babies. Now, that's not the very small one. That's a little bit of a bigger one. That one probably is closer towards 6 months to a year old. So it's a little bit larger than the tiny newborn that I was talking about. That's somewhere in amongst all of them. Now, what you will notice with these elephants is that all the moms are on the edge and the babies get put in the middle. And the reason why the babies get put in the middle is that if something like lions come, then these moms are able to protect those babies by being a big kind of circle around them and acting as what we call a buffer. So it's basically a security force that protects those little ones and makes sure that they don't get hurt by anything that's out here. And you can see at the moment they've got lots and lots of food to feed on. So they'll be very happy because it's been raining the last few days. And that means lots of mud wallows and lots of vegetation that they're able to feed off and get nice food. And at the moment, most of their food that they're eating is going to be grass. Normally in the winter months, they will eat a lot more of the roots and bark and branches. But as we come into summer, it's more grass and leaves. And in fact, in summer, they'll eat about 60% of their diet will actually be just grasses and small, tiny little trees that are just starting to grow. So their sort of diet changes, and also the amount of food that they will eat changes when it's summer and winter. So in winter, they'll eat about 6% of their body weight to survive every day. And in summer, it goes down to about 4%. So they don't have to, because the food that they're eating is a lot more nutritious in the summer months. Right. Good. We're going to probably leave our Ellies now because they seem like they're a little bit grumpy with things. And so while we leave them, let's send you back across to David in the Mara.
Very good, boys and girls. I am sure you have learnt a lot about elephants. And now it's nice to have you back. And from very huge mammals like elephants, I want to take you to something very small. And this is a type of an antelope. Now, remember we were watching other antelope before that I told you they're called toppies. And both of them, boys and girls, or males and females, got horns. Now, if you look at this particular one here, she does not have any horns. So there are certain species or types of antelopes in Africa where the boys will have the horns and the females will not. So this particular one does not have, and this one is called an oribi. Now let's have a look at the male, and you'll see the difference of what we were watching before, where both had horns, boys and girls, or males and females. Now this is the boy of the very same one we were watching before. And you can see carefully that he is trained to hide, but Archie got a very good camera. Archie is the one who is holding the camera with me today, and we can see the horns very carefully through the grass. Now this is the boy, or this is the male. Isn't that exciting? That the female doesn't have the horns and the male have the horns. Now if you look at the ears, they look very beautiful. The ears look like a leaf. You see how they got different pattern? They look like a leaf. Now on a closer look on the horns of this particular antelope, if you look at the very tip of the horns, they look very smooth. But if you go to the base of the horns, they are ringed, or they got different shapes. Can you see that? That's one big difference of this particular antelope that we call oribi, unlike the others. That's the very base of the horn. And were you asking why are the flies attracted to the antelope? Now, they'll always try and suck something on the surface of the skin of most antelopes, not only these ones, and that's why they keep hanging around them. Sometimes you'll even see them on their eyes. So if the eyes, through the eye ducts, they got some end, they're a bit drippy, they'll be there trying to suck all that. Well, one, they clean the eyes, as you can see there. Do you see that? So they tend to clean the eyes, but of course they benefit from that. And these particular antelopes don't really like it, and that's why they keep moving their heads or their ears, because that's not something they feel comfortable with. But if the flies will help to get that kind of liquid coming out of their eyes or anything on the surface of their skins, why not? But when they get too much, she just shakes her head to get rid of them. Now I'm going to move you from these small antelopes and show you something much bigger than this, because this is one day I think all of you are very, very lucky, having seen elephants, having seen the toppies, now having seen those small little guys that we call toppies. Now we're going to see other bigger mammals, just like the elephants, but these ones, I'm sure you know, they are called buffaloes. Right. These are the African Cape buffaloes. And you see that particular one, it's very big. Now we just, is going to lay down, yes, just to have a rest. And even all the others are laying down. Number one, while others are laying down, and maybe that one is standing up. You remember we've been talking of animals where either boys have horns and girls don't. Now the buffaloes, both boys and girls, or both males and females, got horns. Now look carefully, there's some white birds that are with those birds, but the ones standing up have different birds that we're going to discuss in a minute. Now those white birds you see there are called egrets. And why do you think they're there? Anybody can have a guess? And I'm sure all of you are very bright kids, and I'm sure you have the correct guesses. Now when these buffaloes move in the grass as they feed, they disturb the grass, okay? And when they disturb the grass, we'll get some small little insects jumping up and down. And that's exactly what birds, or what those birds are eating. So that one pushed the other out of space. But once in a while, you'll see these particular big mammals will have little parasites on their bodies. So we have seen sometimes these cattle egrets feeding on those parasites. Now look carefully on top of that particular buffalo, just around the shoulder height there. You see on top of the shoulders, there's a bird there that's different from the egrets we were watching before. And there's also one underneath, between the front legs. Now these birds are different from the white ones, and they are called oxpeckers. And what they do, they don't feed the same way like the white egrets, they feed differently. Them, they'll always get all the parasites they see on top of the skins of these buffaloes. So it's the major difference between those two particular birds. And there's one on top of the horns of that particular one there. And we've got two types of these oxpeckers. We have one that is called red-billed oxpeckers, and we have another type that is called the yellow-billed oxpeckers. Now, boys and girls, in Africa, we got 5 animals that we call the big 5. And I'll tell you have seen now 2, the elephants, the buffaloes, and my friend all in South Africa has another of the big 5.
Hey, look what I found. A leopard, this cat with spots and rosettes. He's breathing heavily. This one it's a male, waiting for his birthday next month. He is going to be turning 3 years old. He's panting now, breathing heavily because it's very hot here in this place. It's about 32 degrees Celsius, and that's approximately 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So his belly is full, that's why he's also breathing heavily. He's trying to digest what's inside his belly. He was eating yesterday. He ate a big animal which is called a kudu. It was a female. can see now he's closing his eyes. His mouth is opened. That's how he cools his body off. So when you see an animal opening its mouth, it means it's cooling its body off. And you know the birds, when it's hot, they open their mouth. They are like cattle, they open their mouth when it's hot. So that's what it's doing. And he's sitting, lying right underneath this tree and the grasses. Yeah, that's what keeps him cool this afternoon. And this is a special place and the best place for this animal to live here, because they camouflage nicely. They can hide themselves from the other predators or antelopes when they want to hunt. This is beautiful. Do you all love this cat? Have you seen this cat before? Have you been in Africa before? Don Tavia, what a nice question. Thank you for your question. Keep them coming. You would like to know how do leopards hunt? Hosanna, which we are looking at right now, this leopard, it hunts very, very, very often. So what he is hunting by hiding away from an animal. So he stalks, he just walks slightly slowly and very patient around the bushes or in the grasses, so that the other animals or prey, they don't see him. That's how this guy hunts. And now he's very full, you can see that. But that doesn't mean that he won't hunt. If an animal or a prey will pass by, and he will spot the opportunity and he will hunt again. This is beautiful. You can see he has a necklace there. James, do you want to know how these leopards sneaks on their prey? Yes, that's an interesting one, because they have to lower their body level next to the ground, and then they have to be patient, and then they have to be aware on where they are stepping, because they have to avoid to be hit by the prey. So you can see their color code is black, whitish, and goldish. Then it means it blends easily and nicely around these bushes. So sometimes the prey don't spot this animal, so that's how they hunt. So you can see now he's sitting there, but if you are right here sitting like me next to it, it was so difficult to find this animal because it changed the spot where we left it this morning. So it took us about 5 to 7 minutes to spot where he was, and we found him. And look at the tail, it's going up and down. It's because there's a lot of flies, then it's chasing away the flies. You can see the ears. Oh, Jacob, you like to know how fast these leopards can run. They can run very fast, but not like a cheetah. This one here, the speed can be about 80 to 85 kilometers per hour. But they don't run for a long distance. These animals, because they like to ambush or to surprise their prey, so they have to run for not shorter distances. But they are very fast. You can hear around this place is quiet. And other animals won't see him when they pass here. So just imagine if you were full, you ate 4 plates or 5 plates, how were you going to feel? Look at those teeth. They are longer than yours, right? These are called the canines, but they are longer than ours because they need to use them when hunting. Look at that neck, the way he's breathing. It means he's very full. And earlier on, he drank a lot of water, so that made him to be more full. You can see he tried to catch a fly there, because the flies are so irritating. That's why they have to move their ears, they have to move their tails. Paige, you want to know how leopards are related to cheetahs? They are related, but they are different, because the cheetahs are slender in size and they are longer and they run very fast. So this leopard over here, it's more like a cheetah, and it will be confusing if you don't know the difference. They are both cats, but they are found in different habitats. The leopard we are seeing right now, it loves being around a thicket. A cheetah loves being in an open plains, like an open grassland, because it hunts using its speed. And the cheetah has a long tail, and the cheetah has claws that are outside all the time, just like your dog. So this guy we are looking here right now, his claws are hidden. He only uses them or expose them when he needs to use them. You can see his nose is red. That's one thing you can tell when you see this cat, that this is Hosanna. Beautiful eyes, hey? Can you see how long are these canines? So let's go to the Mara, because there's a special and unique cat than this one with David Gitu.
Ollie, very well done. And I'm sure, boys and girls, you see how things are getting better. We're talking about the big 5 earlier, and Ollie has been able to get you a leopard. Isn't that wonderful? Well, I think I might try and beat Ollie, because I got a lioness here. She's very sleepy lioness, as you can see, which is very normal for cats, leopards, cheetahs, lions. They love sleep, and you can see her very sleepy there. And she's a female, and I'm going to explain to you later why she's a female. But most important, you can see she's flicking her ear again, getting irritated by the flies we saw earlier with the other antelope that we called Oribi. Now, we know our lions here in Africa so well, we can even tell you which group or pride they come from. So this particular female comes from a particular pride that is called the Olololo. All right, boys and girls, can you say that? Olololo. Very good. I'm sure you have said that. Now, the exciting news here is that she got some cubs that we cannot see now. So I want to hear you saying that again. Olololo, everybody. One more time. Thank you very much. So this particular female here, and remember I told you female is a girl, she got some 3 cubs. I saw them yesterday, and I just got here. I'm just hoping they are going to come out. But my guess is in that gully that you see there, that's where they're hiding, because they're just too young, and I think they're just about 3 weeks old. And because they're young, she is hiding them, making sure they do not get disturbed, because if they stay in there, just like small children, they tend to grow better when they sleep more. So even this particular lioness wants her cubs to sleep more and maybe grow. Remember, I requested you, or we have requested you, should you have any questions or comments, please ask them or send them through your teachers. So what Archie is showing you in that particular galley, I'm guessing, I have not known for a fact, but I'm guessing those 3 cubs, very small ones, are in there. And what I need to do is to stay here, hopefully until they come out, because if it gets a little cooler and they want to come and get some milk from the mother, they'll definitely have to come out. Or if this mother is tired of sleeping on that one particular side, she's going to change sides. And in the process, maybe the cubs may think, oh, mom is calling us for some milk. So boys, when you look at the boys' lions, they're different, as I told you, I'll tell you later, because around their necks and the head, they have huge amount of hair that we call some kind of fur that we call mane. So that's the main difference between boys and girls, or between lionesses and lions. Now, when this member joins the rest of the pride that I told you is called the Olololo, they're always 16. Can you imagine? 16 when they're all together. There are some other 3 females, fully grown like this. They are youngsters and they are males. Ariana, how are you? And I'm very happy to hear your question. And you'd like to know, what do lions eat? Now, lions are like cats or like dogs. And we would say lions are carnivores. And what they eat meat. And the meat I'm talking about, you remember the wildebeest we saw before? They eat wildebeest, like the one you saw before. The oribi that I showed you, but the oribi is just too small. And because lions are very big, they will not bother to hunt something small like that. They also eat zebras. I'm sure you all know zebras. So they are carnivores, and carnivores means they eat proteins. And proteins, I'm talking about meat. Be it wildebeest, zebras, the topi that we saw, remember that antelope we saw? That one, that kind of size. But for the small little antelopes like what we saw, the Thompson gazelles, they will not bother because they're just too small. That will be like a snack. And because lions live in big groups, they'll also need to hunt something big. Otherwise, you'd imagine this particular pride of 16 hunting a small thing like an oribi. It doesn't make any sense, or a gazelle. So they'll want to hunt something big. And that's where they can see her tummy. And you imagine just one lioness like this will take a whole oribi as a snack for herself. You'd like to know whether lions kill people. No, they don't. We have seen them every day here in Africa. We know how they behave, and we read their body language or their mood. But in general, we watch them or we see them in the cars. We do anything we can not to offend them. Unless by very big accident they kill people, in general, they do not kill people. And they have no reason to kill people. And they do not eat people. Look at her. She's putting her head up. Hello. Isn't she beautiful? And then back to sleep. Ooh. Now, girls sleep a lot, sometimes 10, 12, 14 hours, depending on the day, depending on what they have eaten, depending on what they have drunk. I mean, of course, they only drink water, nothing else. But the boys sleep more. You might see boys sleeping sometimes 15 up to 18 hours in a day, and certain days even 20 hours. Can you believe that? Just like the domestic cats you have at home. Cats in general sleep the same. Can you see how she's breathing? We'd call that a bit of panting, and the reason for that is because it's a bit warm where we are. Just see. But she may not look for any other area or any area that has better shade or more shade than where she is, because she cannot afford to leave her cubs. She needs to stay close to her cubs and guard them. Her cubs normally have no worries out here in the world, and if they have any concerns, there'll be concerns of other predators, for example leopards or even hyenas. She's pretty, and she chose a very nice place, because if you look at her carefully, it's only that because I knew she was here and I came around because I had seen her yesterday. Otherwise, the way she's saying, She is hiding in a very nice place. Well, we'll wait here, boys and girls, hoping that these cubs might come out. And as I wait, we'll take you back to my friend Oli and find out what his leopard is doing.
He's still sleeping. He will be sleeping until he feels like waking up and leaving the place. But I think you were with David in the Mara. You saw that the lions are living in a group, and you're wondering why this cat is alone here. Leopards, they live solitary unless they are still young before they are chased away from their parents' place. So lions, they live in the family groups because that's how they survive. So this cat over here is so relaxed now because you can see we are not far away from him. We've been following this cat since he was a tiny little baby, like this big. So that's why he's not a threat to us. We are not a threat to him. So that's why he's so relaxed. And my door, I left it home. So you can see he's lying on his side because the soil or the substrate is moist. We had rain last night, so it's cool down there. And his mouth is still opened. That's how they cool down. You can see this pattern, nice and beautiful. Underneath it's white, and you can see the spots. But on top of the body there, they have rosettes. So that's how you differentiate it, and you won't miss it if you see it in the bush. Look at his ears. His ear is twitching a little bit because the flies are irritating him. It's hot and he wants to take a very nice nap, but these flies are all over the place. Look at his lips. It's like he's kissing the ground. This cat is so beautiful. Look at that. This is Tammy. So let's leave our cat sleeping. We don't want to make noise and irritate him like these insects does. Let's go up to the Mara with David again with the lions.
Well, we should thank Oli, boys and girls, because when you look at the big five animals, I think the leopard is always the most difficult one to spot. Now, we are looking at an area where we thought the sister of this particular lioness would be, but she is not there. There's a termite mound. If you look carefully there, that's what you call a termite mound. And she was lying on top of that termite mound, and we guessed she would be there. But I think I might have seen some little bush and thought it was a lioness, but actually she is not there. Well, we want to come back to our lioness here. We're still laying down, not moving, very flat. Again, as I told you, it's very normal for cats just to stay flat. And she is very, very sleepy. I'll have a question for you. Naila, you're asking how loud do lions roar? Well, I maybe explain to you in terms of distance. That's what could be easier for you to understand. If I talk about decibels, that could be a bit difficult for you. If this particular lioness roars from where she is, I would guess her sound might go anything up to 10 kilometers, let's talk of 7 miles odds, about 7 miles odd. That's the distance you might hear a lioness like this one roaring. And they would go, so if she is here, try to imagine 7 miles from your class, you could comfortably hear this particular lioness roar. Now, I was just wanting to ask you a question before she woke up. In her dreams, or when she is sleeping, what do you think she could be dreaming about? I wanted to pose that question to you before I got to that question about lionesses roaring. So, what do you think she could be dreaming about when she sleeps? Dreaming about her cubs? Dreaming about dinner? Dreaming about her last hunt? What do you think she could be dreaming about? I'll be more than happy if you tell your teachers, each one of you, I think she's dreaming of going to hunt what? A wildebeest like what we saw? I think she's dreaming the cubs are coming to get milk without her permission. How does that sound? Funny, eh? So just trying to think, what do you think lioness is dreaming? We all dream. I'm sure even you boys and girls, you dream at one point. I also dream. Last night I was dreaming hyenas were coming to my tent. This has been wonderful, and I'm sure next time you will let me know. So, boys and girls, this has been very exciting for all of you, and thank you so very much for having joined us. We'll give you one more quick look to that lioness so that we can all wave at it, right? Let's go back to that lioness and say goodbye to it. And all the kids of Shelton Park Elementary, Pembroke, Meadows, and Arrowhead Elementary, we want to thank you very much. It's only Shelton who have joined us for the first time, but the other two schools have been with us before. I mean, Arrowhead Elementary, first time with us. Shelton Park, first time with us. And Pembroke, definitely you have been with us before. For those of you who have been with us before, thank you for coming back. For those of you who have joined us for the first time, hopefully we'll be seeing you again soon. Boys and girls, from all of us, we are thank you very much and goodbye.
Welcome to SafariLive Sunset Safari. We are still with Hosanna, but on a different spot. My name is Oli. Joining me behind the camera is Senzom Kize. What a nice, awesome 45 minutes with the kids. Now is the other portion of the show. So we are still live in the Kruger National Park in Sabi Sands, South Africa. And you can send your questions and comments on hashtag SafariLive on Twitter or YouTube chat stream. Hosanna is still panting. I left him panting this morning. Still full. It's warm now. It's about 32 degrees Celsius. That's 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's a small portion of his carcass in a tree there on our right hand side. You can see it's hanging the small ribs there. At least we have dinner for tonight. Hosanna, you fought a lot to have and to own this kill this afternoon. A lot of flies there. Go and eat your biltong. So tomorrow he'll be snacking a biltong pieces there. You can see it's nicely prepared. It's been exposed to sunlight, so it's drying nicely and slowly there. Going back to Hosanna. This cat, it showed me something very interesting this morning, that he can stand his ground. It means he's growing up. And killing a kudu was so interesting. It means he's still going to be around his father's territory. I wish he will stay. Just imagine if he can leave this territory. We have to start a new life of another cat. Let's say Hukumuri owns this place, and then we have to lose Hosanna, Tingana. Yeah, that would be bad. So I'm not alone in this afternoon drive. Let's go to Tristan on the other side of the reserve with some update.
Indeed, you are not. We are here to help you out and hopefully be another set of eyes and hopefully find something of interest. At the moment, though, we're doing a spot of birding, and we are looking at a rather unusual bird of prey. I've been sitting here kind of second guessing myself a little bit. My first instinct was steppe buzzard or common buzzard, which I think is what it is, but I've just been kind of second guessing a little bit, just sitting in an awkward way. Kind of tail is sort of obscured and tricky to kind of see it. Now, there's a very good reason that I am sitting right here. Yes, it is most definitely a steppe buzzard now that it is flown. You can see the rufous on the tail, but there's a very good reason that I'm sitting here stationary, gazing upon Sydney's dam, and that is because that on the other side of that dam wall, just inside the Manuleti, is sitting two cheetah, and they were moving the whole time all the way along towards the Sabi Sands, and apparently Gendre drove past them on the gates, close to the gate, and then they got spooked because they saw Gendre and now they run away and we can't find them. So it's all Gendre's fault. He's come back to work and he hasn't been back at work for even 5 minutes, and he's already chased away two cheetah, which is not acceptable at all. As Kirsty says, she would also run away if she saw Gendre too. So we are waiting for two cheetah. Which two cheetah, I don't know. I have a sneaky suspicion, and it's something that actually Michael Fleetwood pointed out, is that there was two cheetah seen in northern Manuleti a few days ago and a few weeks ago, and it's possible that it could be the two from the female that we saw all those months ago, that Ralph and James and everybody under the sun except for myself and Lauren have seen. And so hopefully those two are on their way this way. If they've been moving steadily down the kind of fence line all the way to here, then hopefully we'll be able to see them. Now, for those of you who don't understand what the fence line is, the western boundary of the Sabi Sands and the Manuleti has a fence system that protects the communities from animals and animals from the communities, and so they're following that fence system along. In fact, Chandra actually even sent a photo, I believe, of said cheetah walking down the fence, and so hopefully they're going to kind of sit up. So there we go, this is one of them. So maybe some of you who are very, very clever will be able to ID this fella already. I don't know why Gendre sent us a square photo. It doesn't really help for us to be able to blow it up. Let me blow it up a little bit. So it's on the other side in the Manuleti. This is the main road that runs to the communities, and so that's the cheetah that's kind of walking around. So if some of you are very clever with spot patterns, you can let us know which cheetah you think this might be. But they are probably, I would say, Gendre says to me he reckons they're about 100 meters, not even, from the gate, maybe even about 60. And so they're slowly kind of coming towards Sydney's dam. It's now a game of either we park here and we watch over the dam in the hope that they're this way where there's impalas and water, or we go towards the gate where I don't think they'll go because they'll be very shy and nervous of people and movement of cars. And so I think what they're going to do is cut that little corner and come over this area here. So we're going to try and see if we can do that and make it a big cat trifecta drive. In the meantime, though, back to David, who is still sitting with his lions.
Well, Tristan, it would be wonderful news if we hear of cheetahs, because cheetahs, when they cross, the property of Joma, is always great news for all of us. Now, I moved a little bit because my lioness was a bit flat, and I have been able to catch up with 4 members. At the moment, I got 2 on the screen there of this Olo Lolo Pride. There are 5 youngsters, which are males, of course, and a few young females, because in total in this particular pride there are 16. So I got these 2, and in some bushes behind walked away another 2, so 4 of these youngsters, and they're very close to this one particular female. It's not very far, sorry about that car, from, yes, that's the other one there, and she's walking away. That looks to me like a fully grown female from her body morphology, from her walking style, and she's walking the other direction. And not sure it's the sister or the first cousin of that particular one there that has cubs. And are you thinking, or are you making plans to have some hunt at one point. Now, we all know lions are very social, and no wonder the four of them are here and not very far from that one particular one. And to me, all these look like young boys. You can see by the size of their bodies, and that is full of mud. I'm not sure that's mud or what that is. And either he must have been somewhere either rolling in mud, and you can see a bit of mane trying to come out. And he looks to me like a very promising male once he matures. I'm trying to guess he's about 2.5 years, maybe. Just cooled off, and it's very typical for the cats and more so lions to start being more mobile when the temperatures go down. I'm not sure where they would be wanting to go, because there's that gully between me and them, and for me to catch up with them, I'll need to go round that gully another maybe 1 kilometer to see where they would be going or what exactly they want to do. It's one pride that is very formidable when it comes to hunting, and especially now with migration gone. Whippy, that is like a gully that I would say earth just broke, and it happened to be eroding every other year, because I remember first time I saw it, it was just about 2 or 3 meters deep, but now it could have gone up to 5 meters deep because of erosion. And it's a very nice place for being used or patronized like dens for different animals. Now, the one lioness we saw earlier, she got her den, or she got her cubs in such a strategic place, because if you look at that particular area Archie is showing us, Archie is the camera operator with me today. If it rains, unless the rain rains, it goes in an angle, falls in an angle, there's no water that would enter there. And cubs like the ones we saw yesterday, for those of you who are with me, they will not get hit by the rain, or they will not get the cold. So we have also seen certain birds using such areas for nesting, like sad martins, and occasionally we also seen some other like bee eaters just being on the bank of such areas doing a bit of nesting. Now those lions have moved further away. Not sure actually you can see them going that particular direction there, and they keep to be walking like they know where they're going. I mean, of course I'm sure they know, or they have a purpose by the way they're walking. And I was talking earlier, now with the migration gone, with the wildebeests gone, it's time now for them to start hunting very big prey. And what I've seen them doing the last few days is bringing down buffaloes, because they said it's such a huge pride. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, should you have questions or comments, you may always send them through #SafariLive on Twitter. Watch them for a couple of minutes and see exactly where they want to go. They blend in so well, and you can see the blessings we have, or we got with the short trains. The grass have gone pretty high as they walk there. Unless they knew they are there, it's almost impossible to see them weaving through. And I'm imagining if there's a prey they have seen and they're focusing on, definitely that prey will not see these lions come close. Until they get very close, they will not see them. I mean, that grass is pretty high, and I'm sure they blend in very well. So that's a very good height of grass to hide in. They definitely are moving with a plan. In the background there is a ranger's post. That's called Musiera. We'll have game rangers staying there, and the work is always to make sure all is good, the animals are fine, we are fine, and everybody is just doing very well. Well, I'm not sure these lions want to stop and have a snooze, or they'll keep going. I'm going to follow them and have to make a loop and find out where they're going. But I hear Hosanna is still dreaming.
Yes, there's something that happened while I was away. So we were sitting here, as we are still sitting, on our right, but because Senzo doesn't have a good view of that leopard orchid, what's happening, not far from us, there's a bush, and this green bush, there's something hiding in this bush. So there's a leopard tortoise in this bush here. So in the morning, there was a viewer said, "Where's the leopard tortoise?" So there's a leopard tortoise here, but we'll wait for it because I think he saw Hosanna and then it stashed inside. So this is magic for us today. We have 3 leopards from different species. So I will wait and see whether this guy comes out or not. So Hosanna woke up because I think if you are too full, you won't have a nice sleep because you really need to reduce the weight that's in your tummy. So Hosanna, I think you need to poo, man. Like, you must go poo and reduce that weight because still have a nice meat you've stashed today. Oh God, my goodness. You're not going there. You'll sit and lie there the whole day. So his necklace is getting bigger as he's growing bigger. It's a nice looking necklace there. And you can see between this necklace you have three spots opposing the direction of this necklace. Oh, he just hid them now. He hide them now. Oh, my goodness. Breathing heavily there. I wonder, because I've read in the books that young leopards, they have pink nose, and when they grow up, they tend to be black. But Hosanna's nose is still pink, so I'll be looking at his nose when he's growing up and see whether it will go black or will stay this pink. Oh, stretching yourself, man. Doing aerobics down there, gymnastics. That's what you've been doing all this day. Yes, and then we are not alone here who's looking at this beautiful sighting. We have the birds. And I think this is the bird that was here this morning, a Birchall starling, but you can't say it. And then you can hear this one. And that's a rattling cisticola. It's a nice, beautiful bird, which is a passerine. That means it has 3 toes pointing, 3 toes pointing forward and 1 pointing at the back. So FC, they're saying they give me 10 out of 10. Thank you. I'm still sharpening my bird call skills. Please don't, because I will have to mimic you then. Keep quiet, birds, please. Please. But Hosanna is getting a nice sleep here because you know the bird calls, they are so melodious. So they encourage him to sleep. Oh, your belly's full, buddy. You're full, boy. It's so wonderful to be next to Hosanna. I can't really. Oh, Hosanna, we have to leave you now and go to the other presenters I'm with right now. Let's go to Tristan and see what he has for us.
Yes, we are one of the other presenters, and I'm sure it's nice to sit with Hosanna. It's always a pleasure sitting with that entertaining cat, although I somehow feel that he's in a food and heat coma at the moment and is probably not really being too entertaining at all, other than just sleeping and giving a dopey little look every now and then that he gets when he's full, which is, I suppose, better than no cat whatsoever, like what we have. So we're slowly meandering, kind of just doing loops around in the hope that these cheetah decide to get the courage to go past the gate. I have a funny feeling that they're a bit nervous. We've seen people on foot there. Obviously there's the security and the people that let people in the gate, and so there's a lot of movement there that takes place, and I think they're a bit kind of maybe a bit nervous, and they've settled down again. But it says James Richard. which begs the
Hello! I'm trying to relocate and show you the leopard tortoise. So I don't want to bother Hosanna. Sorry, buddy. I think I will disturb him. So let us not bother him. So I think this guy is just here, deep in here. So I can't go out because there's a cat. So I think we will leave the scene and then we will come back to see whether Hosanna changed maybe the spot. So leopard, okay, tortoise, you're hiding from us, and I can see it from here with my eyes, but I think it's the. But let's go back. Kizzy, let's go back and see whether what we will find. Hosanna, we'll check you out later. We are not leaving you, man, for good. So let me make a 10 here. And it's getting cooler now. So while I'm trying to sneak out without disturbing Hosanna, let's go to David in the Mara.
Well, it has remained warm here, and I'm feeling like the humidity is going much higher than when we started, which would mean some amount of maybe rain tonight. I do not know for a fact. So what I've done, I have to take the big loop I spoke about earlier to see whether I'm going to catch up with those lionesses and lions that were just moving, or with that particular pride of youngsters. I want to find out how far they have gone. Have they stopped? Are they still on the walk? Or exactly where they are? And maybe find out what they are doing. Did they lie down somewhere, or are they still on the walk? So this is the place I last saw them. Let me see where they are. I'm just guessing maybe they have laid down in the grass, and that's why I cannot see them at the moment. So there's another vehicle in front of me. I'm just gonna leapfrog them. Glider, that's a very good question. And how will the lioness get food if she's still got very small cubs? Apparently, lions are very social cats, and because they're very social, they'll definitely be living with others. And the other ones that don't have cubs will go out and get some food for her. But I've seen lionesses that are very resilient. Even when they got pretty small cubs, they'll still go out and be able to hunt. That particular lioness we were watching there the other day, she hunted herself a warthog and she had food. So in general, others will go out and hunt, for her. But if need be, she's also capable of getting some food for herself. Now, I have not been able to find those lionesses again. What we need to do is first watch. There's some other big animals here that are huge elephants and a sizable herd. As I keep thinking, looking around where those lions could have disappeared to. You remember, I said the grass has gone pretty high. So either where they are, I cannot see them because of the grass, and they must be lying down. And if they are, then that could be a bit tricky to see them. Well, that gate you see there, or the buildings you saw there earlier, or that gate is called Olololo Gate. Now, I told you the pride of lions that we're watching is called Olololo, and Olololo also happens to be the name of that particular gate. And that gate called Olololo, the pride of lions called Olololo, because I'm sure all of you know of the Olololo escarpment, which is part of what you see there, and that escarpment to the locals is called Olololo, and it gave birth to the name of that gate and that particular pride of lions. Definitely not these elephants. These elephants are not called Olololos. These elephants are just elephants, unless we maybe have a name for them. Not many people have been able to research on elephants so closely to be able to identify them, unless they get one with a collar or they collar some, and that way they can be able to identify a particular individual. They move a lot, and there are so many of them to know which particular herd you're dealing with. And especially us here in the Mara, we neighbor another national park called Serengeti, which is a huge ecosystem. And these beasts or these pachyderms will always be crisscrossing these two conservation areas. So it's rather difficult to know which herd is which and where they are at a particular time. Very still. The wind is so very quiet. As these huge African elephants just keep maneuvering the African savanna. And the tusks look pretty clean, pretty white. And I guess it's because of the rains we have had the last few weeks, which I guess they cleaned all these tusks. Jasmine, how are you? And you say you love all the baby elephants. And surely, Jasmine, who would not love baby elephants? Great comment there. And especially when they're much younger, before they develop their tusks, they are always so cute. More so when you see them playing very close to the parents. It's always wonderful to see a baby elephant. I remember the other day we were discussing baby cats, you know, from leopards and from cheetahs and from lions. And we thought, you know, baby cubs, from the leopards, are much cuter than the other two. Not sure, maybe I might ask my colleagues today, Tristan, Trish, and Oli. We look at all these big pachyderms. I'm talking about elephants, buffaloes, and rhinos, you know, these huge mammals of Africa. And we compare their babies, you know. I think we can get Kirsty introduced to us that line today afternoon for a couple of minutes and ask my colleagues what they think. Baby elephants, baby rhinos, or baby buffaloes? Which ones are cute? And from my standpoint of view, I would go with baby elephants. Not sure what my friends might think. But luckily the day we discussed the baby leopards, we agreed, me and Tristan and I think Sydney, we all agreed that baby leopards are much cuter. They're nicer cubs to see them play than the others. So we'll maybe also throw that tweet to the viewers, Kirsty, and ask them what do they think. They have been following us for a very long time. This morning, I think James and Archie had a baby, pretty biggish baby rhino. And of course, baby elephants, I think earlier, and I got some here. Not sure we have seen baby buffaloes this afternoon, most likely to see. Maybe also ask the viewers what do they think of the babies. Isabella, thank you. You're very honest, Isabella. You're very diplomatic. I would say, Isabella, well done for being so diplomatic. And you say, oh, babies are cute. I would agree with you. Sometimes it's difficult to choose or to say what particular babies are more appealing. So, Isabella, let us look at them at a different angle. And Isabella, let's look at these animals that I'm talking about, these babies I'm talking about, when it comes to play mode. So, Isabella, what do you think? And all the other nice viewers, hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. What do you think are more appealing when it comes to play? Baby ellies, baby buffaloes, or baby rhinos? And anything is welcome. I'm going to say those buildings there is a gate where for the people living outside the game reserve in different camps and lodges, they have to go through that gate to come and see this wilderness, this glorious wilderness we have in the Mara Triangle. Got a feeling we have a big drop of temperature now, as much as I still feel the humidity is quite high, because just looking by the body language of those elephants, I hope you have heard one of them just rumbling. I was trying to say their ears are not very flappy. Not sure that's English. Very good, I'm happy that you heard that. I usually kept confusing that rumbling, and I kept saying they must be having tummies that are rumbling, and just came to find out much later when I went to college and in the field that comes from their vocal cords. Well, Tristan, the leopard whisperer, is trying to whisper to some cheetahs. Not sure whether they're listening to him or not.
Well, not today, I'm not. We've seen nothing other than some very grumpy ellies, actually, that we had during the school drive that were not very friendly at all. Once we kind of linked away, we had 4 big females that decided we were not welcome any longer and basically came trotting towards us. Well, trotting is probably a strong word. They walked with some purpose towards where we were. So We haven't really, to be honest though, we haven't really been looking for much. We've been hanging around this north western corner up near Sydney's in the hope that these cheetah are going to start moving again. So far, no sign. So what we're doing is we're just doing a little loop around just so that I can kind of stretch the proverbial legs of Wendy until such time as we kind of head back there when it gets a little cooler. I'm pretty sure that they will come. It's just a matter of time. I think once the gate gets a little bit quieter, not as many people around sort of sunset time, that's maybe when they're going to start appearing and making themselves known. Well, that's what I would think anyway. I'm not... Well, what baby animal do I think is the cutest? Elephant, rhino, or buffalo? Well, buffalo straight away I don't think wins, I'm afraid. It's just not as playful as the other two. But very tough choice between those two, rhinos and ellies. Rhinos have the big feet and are very awkward, and they bounce around and they squeak like little squeaky toys, which is always quite cute. But I think for me, maybe an ellie. I mean, we discussed this just now. Lauren is on the ellie front by just she says by a whisker. Was it a whisker? What did you say again? Ellie. The ellie, but by what? By very little. And Craig is the one that just said elephant straight away, and then I asked him, just to play devil's advocate, do you really think so? And then he shouted at me because I said elephant as well, and he's like, why are you trying to convince me rhino then? And I wasn't. I was just asking the question. So are you sure, Craig? Is your mind made up? Now, it's been an entertaining drive, actually, talking about baby animals. So the answer is from this car is a unanimous elephant for the win, but not by much. And then kind of this afternoon has been quite entertaining because Craig, as we were driving along, a caterpillar decided to deposit itself on Craig. Craig then felt the needs that this caterpillar was not doing well and needed some resuscitation and care. And so the next thing I turned around, and there was the poor little caterpillar. Craig had given it a bit of water, and it was there next to the water, and there was even a little banana next to it. Not sure why there was a banana, because caterpillars don't eat bananas. But he had made like a little bed for it, and he was talking to his caterpillar, saying, it's going to be okay, wake up now. And then he made me drive to a specific tree that he wanted me to put this caterpillar on, and we had to then deposit the caterpillar on this little senna. And now I'm not even sure if that caterpillar eats sennas, but it's now been put on a senna. So it's been force-fed bananas and now pushed onto a senna where it's going to have to cross the road in a perilous journey to get to its host plant, Craig. Craig's just laughing from behind the camera. It's true though, he really did try and nurse a caterpillar back to health. He told me that he thought it was dead, and then he said, no, it's concussed. Then it came round. No, he's not a good caterpillar mother, Kirsty, you're right. We will not give Craig any more caterpillars to look after, because that caterpillar is now most certainly bird food, and the hornbills will be thanking Craig, but the caterpillar won't, that's for sure. It was a beautiful caterpillar, actually. It was a little emerald green caterpillar with this nice little yellow line down the side. Yes, now it's just, well, it's been bananified, so what would that be? I don't even know what we could call that thing. Anyway, caterpillar hopefully will live to another day. Poor Craig was very concerned about said caterpillar and was very worried that it was going to unfortunately succumb to its perilous journey and fall that it had on the way to meeting. Where did it hit you, Craig? On the knee? Did it hit your knee or your face? On your knee. Oh, okay. Well, at least it wasn't your face, Craig. Imagine if you had swallowed it. That would have made you feel bad. Imagine if the caterpillar had come falling to the ground and Craig had his mouth open and caterpillar had gone inside. That's happened, you know. I must be honest, I haven't had a caterpillar personally in my mouth, but I have had various other insects as we've been driving around. The worst are flies by a long stretch of the imagination, particularly if you're approaching a carcass and you know that fly has been sitting on a 4 or 5 day old giraffe or elephant or buffalo or something like that. Those are always the most delightful ones when they go in your mouth. It's a disgusting feeling. Dung beetle, also not ideal. And so the lesson that I'm trying to actually give all of you, whoop, there's almost a millipede death. The lesson that I'm trying to give all of you is that you shouldn't talk as much as I do while driving, and then you won't eat nearly as many insects, and you'll be okay. That's apparently what we're going to go away with from this discussion. It's very quiet though, I will say that.
So, Kalina, question for Craig. Craig, I thought you had to let nature take its place. What is your answer, Craig? Eh? It hit. Craig says it was human interference because he kneed the caterpillar in the head and therefore concussed it. And so he felt bad that he had to then kind of look after it. So apparently that was human interference, and that's why Craig said he could look after said caterpillar. What did you call the caterpillar? Craig? Craig and Craig? Didn't name it. Oh, Craig, you failed. You didn't even name your pet, Craig. That's poor form. You know, here at Wild Earth we name everything, so I'm very disappointed that you didn't name him. Kirsty, do you have a nice name for Craig's caterpillar? In fact, we might even head past that bush just now and see if we can actually find it. Oh, hello, squirrel. Are you going to sit still for us so we can actually show an animal and stop talking nonsense? Yes, it's going to sit still, but it's going to sit behind something. No, it's not going to sit still. Where are you going to go from there now? Oh, I'm just going to go into the next tree. This is a smart squirrel. Right, let's see if we can get a better view of this squirrel. It's now coming down again. Where did you go? Indeed, Jasmine, I like that. Batman and Robin. So the caterpillar will now be known as Robin. We'll have to make a little cape for it, though, so that it can also have a little red cape. I suppose Robin was green. Was Robin green? His outfit was green with a red cape, wasn't it? Am I wrong, Kirst? Or am I right? I think I'm right. A little yellow R and a green outfit. So it would work if he's a caterpillar who's got... Yeah. Okay. Google it and let us know. But a caterpillar, I'm pretty sure that Robin has green tights with a yellow R and a red cape, which would be perfect. If we make a little red cape for that caterpillar, then we'll have Batman and Robin riding around on the back of my vehicle. And very few people can say they took Batman and Robin on a safari. Craig, you do know if you ever get married, you're going to have to get married to Robin. So he's got a red... I got the colors right, just the wrong order. So red suit, apparently, green gloves and a yellow cape. Oh, hello, tiny baby. Look, there's a very small baby elephant. In fact, smaller than the one I saw earlier. You can see its ears are still very pink. That are kind of flapping in closest to us at the moment. Is the Ellie that I'm talking about. See how pink those ears are? Now that's often a sign of a newborn little baby. It's still a bit wobbly on its feet as well, so I would say within the last probably day or two, that little one has been welcomed to the world. Isn't that cute? Now, we were talking about cuteness between baby Ellies and baby rhinos. It's so tricky because we can never really show baby rhinos here. Not that I have seen a baby rhino in quite some time, but, you know, when we do get little baby rhinos, they are very, very cute little things, and they're often quite curious of cars. You'll find them often coming quite close in order to come and see what's going on. But you can see how that little one is absolutely dwarfed by its... Oh, are you trying to get over the stump, little one? Let's see how it goes. Oh, come on. Get that back leg up. Oh no. There we go. There we go. Engage low range 4x4 diff lock, and over it went. And so you can see it can get underneath its mother in order to get a bit of shade, which will then kind of protect it from that sun. And when those ears are still pink like that, that's very, very important that these Ellies get that shade. Otherwise, they get very badly sunburnt, and their ears will get very crispy, funny enough, which is very, very unfortunate, and they can get dehydrated very quickly and succumb to that. So it's important that they still have that ability to get under mom in the first few months of their life, where then mom's body will basically provide the shade needed in order to survive. But incredible how that little one just disappeared, and in that thicket. It's amazing how much greener it is. I would actually like to know how many Ellies we've got here. It looks like a fairly decent kind of grouping. And you can see how well they actually blend in the summer vegetation. When the greenery gets quite thick, those greyish kind of neutral tones work so well in being able to kind of camouflage in amongst the thickets. The problem is they're walking away from us and deeper in there, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to get a car in there at all, so we're not going to attempt that yet. We're going to try and go see one more loop for these cheetah, and then I think if we head back towards kind of Galago Pan, these guys might turn towards Galago Pan. They're north of that at the moment, pretty much where I was trying to follow Tingana the other day, which was a bit of a nightmare.
Now, we're going to carry on, go see what we can find with those cheetah. In the meantime, back to Team Rusty to see what their vote is in the trifecta of cute baby animals.
Yes, Tristan, cutest animal, cutest baby. For me, I will go for an elephant. Oh, they are so cute. Rhino. No, Jamie is saying rhino. No. Senzo? Elephant. It's 2 in 1 in this vehicle, so elephant is winning. Baby elephant. And more especially when you see them while they're still new. FC buffalo. No. Elephant. And I love their ears at the edges, on the edges of their ears when they're still young. They're like more, they're pink, and they can't control their trunk. Oh, like they're so cute, man. Have you seen them wallowing in the mud? Cute. So we left Hosanna because he's still motionless. I can say he's flat. And I know Uncle James said I must avoid using this word flat, but Hosanna was flat this afternoon. Sorry, Uncle James. So now we have Kuefuel. These are Kuefuels, that's African's name. It's go away bird. That's a gray go away bird. It's a gray lorry, and I've 8 out of 10 FC. I'll try that next time. I'll go 10 out of 10. So we find these birds. We find them. We see them every day. Wherever you drive, you'll see these birds. And sometimes they say they can tell you, or they will alarm for you. But sometimes they will tell you lies, just like the squirrel we saw before we went live. It was alarming. And when we did our search, we found out it was alarming for another squirrel. So sometimes you don't have to rely on these guys. Yeah. So there's a pen on the right there. So that's why we came this side. We're looking at some tracks or maybe some interesting things that might like to be around this place, like ellies, buffaloes, rhinos, and of course the cats. So let's move forward. I'm sorry, birds, and I'm still going with the baby elephant. Ha. Hello. These are lorries, and I've interesting. Oh, there's something interesting on top there. Senzi, there's something on top there interesting. And you see that on top of a tree, a foam nest. It's a foam nest. Just imagine these frogs. They make this nest more especially around the water holes, because the young ones, when they hatch, they have to drop down straight in the pen. So the male, it starts with the female, then it goes on that particular spot, and then lays the eggs, and then the males will come, then they will fertilize them. While fertilizing them, they will use their hind legs. They will scratch them, then they produce this foamy stuff that tends to be this foam nest. And this foam nest protects their eggs from drying out. And the other thing is that who wants to eat something foamy? Oh, I can't. And you can see they are so wet. And straight down, Senzo, you can see when these tadpoles reach their stage where they have to leave this nest, they will go down there. Look down there. Yes, straight down. Then they will start their real outside life here. So, hello froggies. I can't wait to see you. Let's push forward and see what we can find. Hello froggies. Welcome to 2019. I believe they'll be safe. so nice, perfect. Ah. Oh. You can still ask your questions in the comments on #SafariLive on Twitter. Yes, Kalina, I've seen an impala giving birth, but not here while I was at school, at the college. And I've never seen an elephant giving birth live. No, I've never seen that. But the interesting thing was my friend, who's a female friend, not my fiancé, but a female friend from home, she said that she went to this place. It was around October, November, sometime last year. And then she told me that there was this couple, and then they were watching. They were on a sighting, and then they were watching some head of elephants. And then what happened is that elephant started to give birth, and then after that, that guy proposed a marriage to his fiancée. So those are times I wish I can have, like, just imagine proposing while impala or an aardvark or something giving birth. Unique times. Just imagine. Some other times are just, because those kind of moments, they are irreplaceable. You want, it's so rare to have such moments. Sorry, there. It's so rare. So we are still here driving around in the Kruger Park, in the western flanks of the Kruger National Park. So while I'm thinking about which animal I would love to see giving birth while I'm proposing, let's go to David in the Mara.
Well, only that was an exciting story, you know, of when you'd propose to a girlfriend, depending on what, you know, the gentleman. So anyway, here in Kenya, Oli, we have always thought if you get to those very rare sighting, I'm talking of either a pangolin or an aardvark, and there's a girl you've been trying to either engage, and it has been very difficult for some time. The day you see the pangolin or you see the aardvark, you go and you talk to the girl, you straight away get engaged. Well, that's what I've always heard from my village. And for those of you who could be joining us now, this is one member of the Olololo Pride, and she's just lying flat there with all these lion flies on her body. Not sure they're getting the warmth from her body or trying to get her peeling or getting any flecks on her skin. I've sat here for quite some time because this particular individual got 3 cubs with her, very tiny, 3-4 weeks or so. I would say more 3 weeks than 4 weeks. I saw them yesterday, same time around, but currently they have not come out. So I had her like 45 minutes earlier. She was still lying flat there, just panting and breathing. And I thought I'll go and come back when it has cooled off. But they haven't come out as yet. But I got a feeling at one point they'll come out. And it's just so nice to see those small little bundles of joy jumping around and playing before it gets dark. Typical for lions to sleep, nothing out of the ordinary. So they tend to go flat, and when they go flat like that, not much you can do. You only have to wait until they're up and about. So a few minutes earlier, I saw 4 of the members of the Olololo Pride, which normally consists of 16 members who went together. But now, with the addition of these 3 new cubs, they'll be going to 19. And I've been asking myself, how long will the 19 hold? How long will they stay together as 19 before maybe they start splitting into smaller groups? As it is now, we have been seeing 7 of the youngsters, which are males, more so than not on their own. So I don't know how long that will take before they go in different directions. Well, once the pride gets big, sometimes they'll all split because of food resources. And I'm imagining the first out will be those boys. Rosalind, that's a very interesting question. At what age do lion cubs start to roar? I'll tell you for today, Rosalind. Sorry, I don't have an answer for you, but I'll work hard and let you know. I'll tell you anything, Rosalind, 2 weeks going to 3, they can comfortably start eating meat, and by 3 months, they're all very good eating meat. Boys, 2, 2.5, the mane is already developed, and of course they can roar. But at the very point they start to roar, when they're young, Rosalind, I'll be working out. That's going to be my homework between today and tomorrow. And I'll let you know at what age. I'm not sure my colleagues, Ollie, Tristan, would be able to know at what age they start roaring, but that's a very nice question. That should make me start working hard today. Hello, Lioness. Are you not waking up? So I'm thinking right behind her neck there, at that little gully there, that's where those cubs most likely could be. This is not exactly where I left her yesterday. She was further down by another 20, 30 meters from that point. And the cubs, by the time I left this area, had entered in a gully and they're not playing anymore. I'm trying to imagine we still have some wonderful light, not as hot, not very cold, some good temperatures for the cubs to come out and start playing around. But if the mother doesn't think so, chances are they will not come out. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, should you have any questions or comments, you may send them through #SafariLive on Twitter. We love hearing from you because we are always very interactive, and when we engage, our drives become quite entertaining. Edward, these flies here that we call lion flies, I only would give maybe 2 possible theories. Number one, I'm sure they get a lot of heat from this particular lioness, and we have seen them, of course, in most lions, not only Edward on lionesses, but even on the males. But I also want to believe there's some kind of either liquid or something they suck on the surface of the skin. Otherwise, they'll not just be there for no apparent reason. And Edward, I'm not trying to imagine they have a symbiotic kind of relationship, but I'm sure they have more than those 2 benefits I'm talking about. Either there's some kind of fluid they suck from the surface of the skin, and definitely that they feed on, otherwise they have no reason to be there. But also maybe the warmth from this particular cat could be another reason they are on the bodies, because we've seen this a lot. We even see them on the belly side, and not only on the females, but even on the males. What is interesting is we never see these lionesses or lions getting quite irritated by these particular flies. And they look very comfortable. They tend to accommodate them. So my question would be, what is the benefit they get from the flies? We have seen so many, or we've got so many classical examples of symbiotic relationships out here. And that could be a very good bet to look at. I've been watching this lioness thinking I got my friend Isaac, who along the drive, I'll be introducing him as he just joined us the other day, and very knowledgeable, very experienced guide as we keep training him. Of course, James Henry is the gentleman who is training Isaac. They got to the Mara together yesterday, and they started their first drive this morning, and Isaac was able to do a few segments this morning. And I can't wait to sit behind him and I shadow him when I have him doing other segments, especially in the afternoon. I'm looking of throwing him under the bus, and more so I'm talking of getting him in the darkness where we shall be using the infrared camera, and I'm sure he's going to match up to that. He has been in the field, or he has been getting for a couple of years. Now, lioness would want you to wake up. You have been lying there for so long. Please up, lioness. And I'm going to stay here, and I'm not going to move until we wake up. And as I continue staying put here, we'll take you close to Jamie.
We, on the other hand, have moved away from Hosanna in order to enjoy the other opportunities that the bush has to offer before it comes time and gets a little bit cooler, and we'll go back to Hosanna. Just a quick introduction. My name is Jamie, and I'm sitting where Koli was sitting up until about 2 minutes ago. I am still wrapping my brain around the idea of a birthing, animal birth / proposal. And in fact, when we rounded the corner and saw an impala herd in front of us, was the first time I haven't looked closely to see whether or not any of them are giving birth, just in case. He's grinning in the back there. Senzo, of course, is still on camera with me. And we are trying to look at a monkey. It's unfortunately right into the sun, which makes Senzo's life a little tricky. Perched right on the top of a dead tree, looking thoroughly contented. And I think all of the animals out here rejoicing in the fact that it's rained. I know we emphasize this point pretty much every single day, but what a change, what a nice change it must make for animals like this monkey to be able to go and eat fruit, for example. Something that has a little bit of texture, a little bit of taste, a little bit of juice. I don't know what it's spitting out. I think it's spitting out seeds of some description. I think perhaps it's been eating white berry bush berries. Whatever it is, it really doesn't want the seeds. It's a delicate process, clearly. Looks like an old man spitting out sunflower seed casings. Bunched up together on its haunches. I'm actually quite sad. I really feel as though we haven't had many monkey sightings this year, this rainy season. We do in our camp every morning when they come to see whether or not we've let our guard down. But live, we really haven't had that many. And Patty is pointing out that this vervet monkey has a serious eyebrow brush. So, absolutely, this one has... No, you see, I actually don't think this one brushes its eyebrows at all. Oh, I see. I'm sorry, I was being very stupid there, Patty, of course. A brush is in that sense. Right. Yes, we'll combine that with the old man image that I created, because, of course, as we know, eyebrows do get slightly out of control, as one, particularly for men, as they age. And combine that with the eyebrows and the seed spitting, not the speed sitting, the seed spitting. And it completes the image. Right, are we off to get some more? What are you eating? Look at what's around it. Oh, stop, have a jolly good scratch. That looks comfortable. No. On to the next thing. And that is very definitely, in case you were left in any doubt, that is very definitely a male, sexually mature vervet monkey. They are they're called blauwappies in Afrikaans, blue monkeys. And if you don't know why, well, you're not watching, clearly. Berries, oh, jeez, it looks like silver. I saw that the silver cluster lilies were flowering. I wouldn't have thought that's what it would be eating. There must be something around the back there that I can't see. I'm convinced it's a white berry bush that it's enjoying. It's tucked right deep in there. Yeah, there you go. Look, you can actually see the white berries. Well done, Senzo. Ah, Liz, have I got a story for you. Liz wants to know if monkeys cause a lot of havoc. They can and they do, particularly when they've been taught very bad habits by people leaving food out in accessible places. And they've come to associate people with food, and they become an absolute nuisance. Now, that is something that happened while we were in Kenya. Our tenants renting our house constantly left food out and constantly left the window open. And as a result, we found ourselves with quite a serious monkey problem when we returned. Now, the first time they invaded, not very much happened. The second time, they pulled open a window that we had closed but not latched. They'd actually got their little fingers underneath it, and they'd managed to pull it away from the frame, and they'd got in. Guess what they got into? A bag of flour. And they spread the flour from one end of the kitchen counter to the other. There were little beautiful, perfect monkey handprints all the way up the window. There were beautiful monkey handprints on the door of the microwave, on the door of the stove. And then, just to add insult to injury, because flour on its own is okay, they got into the bananas. They then had a banana fight, throwing it at each other, and they then smooshed the banana through the flour, so that it was nice and sticky, nice solid sticky mixture. And then, for good measure, they pooped on the way out in my sink. So yes, monkeys absolutely 100% can cause havoc. Do you know what else they did? They disrupted the squirrels that have invaded our roof and are busy messing up our roof. No, the best part of it, I had malaria, okay, at this point, so, I was a little jittery. The best part of it was Brent went to sit down and he said, I'll do it later. You will do it with me right now. Or else. Oh, I'm not sure what I will do, but it will not be pretty. Oh, there's more monkeys up ahead. They had the best time. Oh, and our pool. They threw bananas, flour, and their own poop in our swimming pool. So, Just saying. It's one of those little blow-up things, so it's not like it's got a creepy crawly or anything. Then, the other thing that they did in this whole process is they disrupted the squirrel nest that's up in our roof, which is also a problem because now the roof leaks. But they disrupted the squirrels, and there was a baby squirrel on the floor. Now, this little tiny baby squirrel was just got its fur. Ooh, sorry, Gears. I'm just trying to do it so that Senzo doesn't have to shoot into the sun. Can you see there on the top of that log there? Anyway, on the dead tree. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them there. Thanks. So, the end point of the story was the baby squirrel was there, but it was ice cold and squeaking. Now, neither Brent nor myself have ever wanted a pet squirrel. They do tend to be quite traumatic as they grow older. They bite people, they attack people. They don't make good pets once they're older. Anyway, so I said, let's leave it, and let's wait and see if the mother comes down to fetch it. But it was ice cold. The next thing I look at Brent, and he's got it in his hand, gently trying to syringe feed it something. But what he tried to syringe feed it was my granola, which, as most of you will know, is relatively solid, and short of actually being mashed by some kind of compressor, I don't think it would ever be soft enough for this poor baby squirrel. Anyway, we saved it in the end with an earbud and some Ensure. I had to warm it up because it was going to dehydrate. And a little bit of rehydrate as well, some water. And then we took it to the vet the next day, and thank goodness the vet lady was very kind enough to take it from us. So yes, monkeys really do cause chaos. Absolute, total, 100% chaos. They also stole my Panado and at one point my Coartem, which is, if for those of you that don't know what Coartem is, it's malaria medication. Fortunately, I caught them before they actually took it. I would have been very unimpressed. It was in the grouting. It was in the washing machine. I forgot about that. It was in the washing machine. I'm glad you're all thoroughly entertained. I have to tell you that when I walked in and I saw that, I also burst out laughing. I thought it was the funny... Look how this monkey's charging the impala. You idiot. Impala doesn't want your white berries. Don't be silly. Actually, it probably does. In fact, it definitely does. Standoff. But of all the things they could have got into, did it have to be the combination of flour and bananas? I don't even like bananas. The only reason I bought them was because friends of ours wanted them on their pancakes. Because they've got a brand new baby, so I decided I'd make them pancakes one morning. The friends, that is, not the monkeys. Well, the monkeys also had brand new babies. And the only way to get rid of them is to chase them. So the one day, Brent left me, and I had malaria, very high temperature, And what I was doing to chase them away, because they're really difficult to chase away, is I was taking the pellet gun, but not loading it with pellets. So just it's spring-loaded, so it makes a bah sound when you fire it, when you've loaded it, but you don't have to actually put the pellets in. So I wasn't putting the pellets in, I was just, making a sound to scare them off. But I was so weak from the malaria, I don't know where Brent was, he'd gone away somewhere. I was so weak from the malaria that I couldn't actually I couldn't cock the rifle, the pellet gun. So I was standing there weeping in a t-shirt with my arms shaking, unable to conceive of how utterly weak I was. Look at all the babies hanging onto Mum's tummies. Cute, look. This is what I've been looking for all summer. How beautiful. Now, why'd you turn your back, girl? We were enjoying that. Look at this golden light, green grass. I know they're quite far away, but this is really quite pretty. Here come some more little ones. Oh, cute. I could watch monkeys all day too. Kirst says she could. I definitely could as well. This is beautiful. And look, they look so innocent and lovely, don't they? At this distance. Oh, look at the little one, tucked in the middle. Up against Mum. Oh. Like humans, monkeys of course have pectoral mammary glands. This is beautiful. What a stunning sighting. With the grass shining like this. It was almost enough for me to forgive them their transgressions in my kitchen. Almost. Look at its tiny tail gripping onto Mum's tail. Just that extra level of support. Awesome, Tracy. Tracy's in Durban, which is one of the largest cities in South Africa. It's down on the coast. And Tracy said that she saw a vervet monkey with twins yesterday. Wants to know if I've ever seen that. I haven't. I mean, it's entirely possible, I guess, that I have and that I haven't realized it, because I assume, of course, that you saw them both being carried by the same mother and probably being suckled by the same mother. So it's possible that I have and I've never realized it, but I've never ever seen that before. I've seen mothers try to steal others' babies, but I've never actually seen twins from a vervet monkey. It's quite rare, but not as rare as something like, for example, elephant twins. Oh, by the way, you're all absolutely right. Baby elephants are very cute, but you haven't seen baby rhinos properly live. Because let me just tell you, that's something special. When they do their little dance and their feet are too big for their bodies and they flap around and they've got these little ears. Don't know what you're missing. Let's get closer to these monkeys. I'm enjoying this. I was really just passing the time until it got cool enough to go back to the largest leopard I ever did see in terms of belly proportion. I'm so proud of our boy. Oh, it's going to be nice, Sens. You're not shooting into the sun anymore. You little terrors. Gremlins, fortunately not. Gremlins wants to know if these monkeys steal things from tourists. Fortunately not, no. They haven't been taught bad habits. They're not fed by anyone at the lodge. So they've got no real reason to go into the lodge and steal things from people. Look, it's possible that they could go into a room if it's left open, and they might. I have heard stories. In fact, I believe the most recent one was from Brent's brother, who spent... He phoned us to complain about the fact, but it was before he worked at Chitwa, but that he'd spent 3 hours traipsing through the bush helping a lady reclaim the contents of her suitcase, thanks to a primate invasion, although I think in that case it was baboons. Certain places that you go, tourist attractions, big tourist attractions, places like Burke's Potholes or God's Window, or if you go further into the Cape, you'll find that the monkeys have been fed by... Oh, it is. There he is. That's the one who always raids our camp. The one with the damaged hand. It's you. I know you. Don't worry, everyone. That has not set you back at all. I was going to tell you what we call him, but it suddenly occurs to me that I'm not sure it's 100% appropriate. So I'm going to avoid that. I know you. You're the cheekiest of all. Lou apparently is telling us that this monkey tried to piddle on her once. He tried to urinate on her head, which is very rude. It's exceptionally bad-mannered. Don't worry, this... I'm scared of telling that story, Kirst. There was an unfortunate incident where a monkey relieved itself upon one of the directors of this company. Not the directors of the show, as in the actual directors of this company. And it was not urine. It defecated on his head. I was going to say there's certain tourist attractions. I've descended into madness. Certain tourist attractions... Oh, are you on our dam cam? Are you going to go switch it off now? Please don't do that. Conradi will be very upset with you. We've just managed to make a temporary plan. Right, what was I saying? Oh, certain tourist attractions where they actually become very dangerous. So monkeys that are fed, they have sharp teeth. They're dangerous. They can bite, and they get very aggressive. Particularly the males, and particularly males towards women, because they're one of the few animals that recognize the difference between a man and a woman and respond differently in kind. And they tend to be more fearful of men than they are of women. And what's sad about that, of course, is that the end result is that the monkey has to be put down when it reaches that point, and purely as a result of human carelessness. You leave a window open, and you let them associate a place with food, and then they become a problem. Okay. Bye-bye, monkeys. That was really quite lovely. I enjoyed that. Thanks, Enzo. That was very special. I completely forgot to tell you all the flower story. I'm glad I had the opportunity to do so. Of all the things, flour. I don't even know why I bought flour. It's not like I bake. I can't bake to save my life. I just felt like it was something that someone needed to have in their house. You know, it's what adults do. They have flour. It was 2 days later and it was spread around my kitchen. All right, I'm going to recover from the indignity of it. Let's jump on board with Lauren to find out what she thinks of this silliness.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have swapped places with Tristan, so it is now me in the front seat, and we're still on the same mission. So we still have Craig on camera, who's still sad that he's lost his robin. Which is funny, as we were actually just talking about superheroes last night at the dinner table. Not that I know too much about superheroes, but obviously Craig is our Batman, and for some reason unknown to all of us, the girls chose to say that they prefer Aquaman as their favourite superhero. No idea why. Maybe it's something to do with the water. I have no idea. But anyway, apparently it's all my fault, according to Tristan. I do like Aquaman. Anyway, we're still on the same mission. We are circling around because we are really, really, really hoping that the cheetah, who are just so close to the gate, do cross into an area that we can reach. Imagine if we go too far and we get news that they've crossed over. We would be absolutely devastated. We're all super excited about this. It's not common for us to see cheetah around here. And since I've been here, they've only been sighted once by Miss Jamie. So for me, this would be a really special moment. So we are driving around in little loops to see what else we can find, but we're staying really close to the area where the cheetahs are because we don't want to miss them. I also want to make Tristan jealous. So fingers crossed we find them. Let's see how that goes. Oh, so I have instigated a conversation in Joburg now, and a lot of the ladies are agreeing that Aquaman is a good superhero. I just can't think why. We need to look into this. I'm a water girl, so I've got a reason for liking Aquaman. Sorry, Craig. Batman's okay. Anyway, back to the mission at hand. Now, obviously, the vegetation is really thick around here, but back up where the cheetahs are said to be, it's a little bit more open. There is obviously a dam, Sydney's Dam, in that area, and it's a little bit more open, which cheetahs do tend to prefer. So just please, everybody, cross your fingers and toes. I think I managed to cross a toe there, that we can actually find them. Paula, what is my favorite time of day? That's interesting. Jamie was talking about time of day this morning, and I have to say, I think I'm actually similar to Jamie. I love morning time. Maybe not the nicest person for the first 15 minutes of the morning, but once I've had that coffee, I'm lovely, and I love being out in the morning. It's same in the water. As you all know, I'm a marine biologist coming from the ocean, and the water is also the same as out here. Everything's waking up. So you get the daytime animals that are waking up to come alive and start their busy day, ocean and bush, and then you get the nighttime, the nocturnal animals that are ready to sort of settle, hide from the daytime, and they finish their nighttime activities. So morning is definitely a favorite time for me. I'm not really much of a night owl. I do fall asleep very early. So yes, but sunset is also beautiful too. A little bit of a tricky question, Paula, but I'm going to go for morning. All right. Come on, cheetah. It's been a while since I've had a spotted cat. Yes, lots of people are agreeing with me that morning is better. We're going to go left. So yes, it's been a while since I've had a spotted cat. So it's obviously not going to be a leopard this time. And that's exactly what we're hoping for. We do keep bumping into Ellies everywhere. You'll just be driving along and Ellies keep popping up. It's amazing. So if we do come across more, we will stop for them. So we're just heading back. We've done a loop and we're now heading back. Oh, go little mongoose. We're heading back in the direction of where the cheetahs are. So oh, I do need to inform you what I've just been informed myself. So apparently Mr. Hendry himself has just tweeted that Batman would definitely take on Aquaman. Craig's agreeing. Tristan, you agree? No way! Looks like we've started quite a superhero debate here. I have to disagree with you, Mr. Hendry, if I'm allowed to say that. And I think everyone in Johannesburg will also be disagreeing with you. I haven't seen the movie yet though, so I'm definitely going to try and watch that. I'm sure it'll be delightful to know a little bit about Aquaman. Oh, Kalina's going to do some research for me. Please do. There's only a few things I know about Aquaman. One is what he looks like and one is water. So, yes, please, Kalina, do some research for me. I'm not turning around fully, but I don't think the boys are very happy on the back of me right now, so looks like I've started a superhero war. And it's funny to find out that Craig is actually called Batman, because when I was learning my bird calls, one of the first calls I learned was the grey go away bird, that, as you know, it sounds like it's saying go away, away. And for some reason I just tend to call Craig Craig, and it just helps me practice my calls. So I don't tend to actually call him Batman. I tend to call him Craig. That's probably a terrible impression of the bird, but that's what I'm going with. It's definitely getting a lot cooler out here, which makes it easier for us, but the sun is getting to that really low point where it just really gets you in the eyes. So hopefully, if the cheetahs were resting in the shade, hopefully they might start to get up soon, as it is getting cooler. It just reaches that point in the evening where you start to go, ah, you can just breathe. It's not so hot anymore. I can breathe. Oh yes, this is a really crucial point of the drive today. So we're going to send you across to Miss Jamie herself and see what her preference of superhero is.
I forgot that we had this conversation last night. Lauren's excitement at the release of Aquaman, let's just say it was quite surprising. We've just been fixing the dam cam cover, which, as you saw, was in a bit of a state after that storm. So he just fixed it up. Okay, so Batman or Aquaman? That's a weird comparison. Batman, obviously. Although I really feel as though Iron Man should be in the mix, because then it's a done deal, obviously. No, I haven't actually admittedly seen Aquaman. I haven't seen Aquaman. I can't keep track of all of these various forms of DC and Marvel and... Okay, well, I might change my... But I know who the actor is. Listen, exactly what are we comparing here? Are we choosing the movies for the quality of their production, their script writing, their soundtrack, their actors? What exactly are we going for here? Because I know what Lauren's going for there. Because if we're going to go for quality of soundtrack and script writing, I'm going to say Thor Ragnarok. But not looks. No offense. Iron Man. It's Robert Downey Jr. Of course. I still haven't seen Aquaman. I know who he is. And he made a brief appearance in the most recent Justice League movie, I think. I'm gonna tell him. Amanda says that she thinks that Patrick is our very own Aquaman. I imagine that Patrick will be thrilled to hear it. I will waste absolutely no time in telling him of that, I can assure you. Oh, that's great. Lauren apparently has experienced a profound emotional reaction to that statement on Wendy. Team Wendy. It was an oddly long conversation last night, to be honest. It went on for quite a while, and I cannot remember how we started it. I think we were just talking about things to watch, or to look forward to watching. But as discussed, I'm so far behind everything because I just fall asleep. Completely useless. Did make Brent watch Chicago the other night. Jared's buddy has suggested that we have a superhero day in the Mara and in Juma, and where we all dress up as various superheroes. Cool. I like that idea. Sens says he likes that idea. What are you going as, Sens? It's a surprise, but he loves that idea. I don't know what Kirst just said to me. Sorry, I was distracted by trying to figure out what Sens' surprise would be. Aww. Aww. It was a nice thing, she said. She said she was going to go dressed as me because I'm a hero. That was very sweet and positively nauseating, Kirsty. What has Johannesburg done to you? What is this? I'll go as Kirst and she can go as me. There we go, there. I knew eventually I would get Kirst's response there. That was what she was wanting out of me. Let me just double check I can actually go back to this Hosanna sighting. Give me a moment. Got a bit distracted by fixing up the dam cam. Are there any stations with Hosanna? I'm gonna take... Okay, copy. I'm going to make my way there, see if I can relocate. Someone didn't look properly. He's there. I'm pretty certain he hasn't moved. A superhero day would actually be great. I remember how we got talking about superheroes. It was because Tristan was so angry about the fact that Spider-Man had web cartridges that ran out of web rather than them just sort of being expelled from his wrists. Tristan was really upset about this. I mean, but really upset, genuinely. I've seen Trist angry before, but not like this. This was something else. I guess Tristan will have to go as Spider-Man. I don't know how you'll feel about that, though. Okay, so what superhero would everybody be? Now you've got it. Now you've done this. You've created this. Okay, apparently Lou agrees completely with Trist's anger. But now you've got to do it. Now you've got to assign superheroes to the SafariLive crew. And you've got to do that on hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Anna Marie apparently has said that I would be Catwoman. Thanks, Anna Marie. I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. I think that would be quite cool. I think that'd be very cool, actually. Plus, Selena has a much more mysterious ring to it than, say, Andrea Jamie Patterson. Yeah, Selena. Go with that. I'm trying to think now. Where would James be? I feel like I could end up digging myself into a horrible hole with this one. No, I'm leaving it to you. You can figure that one out. Lauren would be... of course, a very sad shortage of... Omkar says that James would be Magneto from X-Men. I had a little giggle because I was kind of picturing Ian McKellen, but actually the younger days of Magneto as played by Michael Fassbender, not bad. Not a bad comparison, James. James is a bit moral for that. Magneto's... Debbie says that Lauren would be Wonder Woman. I think I agree with you. I do. Where am I? I'm going completely the wrong way. I was following that hyena, but that hyena doesn't like vehicles. It's already beyond the reach of the camera. I'm going completely the wrong way. Now look what you've all done to me. Idiot. I also feel that Lou is a strong contender for Wonder Woman, to be honest. Lou is immensely strong. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. Tristan can say it. If he wants to say it, he can say it. I'm not doing it. I refuse. I refuse. Can you see him? Yeah. Same place, almost. Lisa has said that Senzo would be Black Panther. You know, I saw Sens pull off a proper move earlier when we were driving past a thorn tree. He whipped backwards with no hands and abs working overtime. So, yeah, I concur. Hello, my boy. Let's not smash this poor gardenia. I wonder where the tortoise is. I'm a bit nervous now. Okay, I'm just trying to think what route he will want to follow to get to his kill. I think here should be okay. Hello, mister. Are we sort of awake now? Tristan and I had a long discussion about, speaking of hyenas, about June this morning. And the fact that Tristan saw her walking off with a big chunk of meat. Not in the direction of Pretty and Corky's new den. What superhero would Hosanna be? Thor. Surely. There's just something wholesome and lovable about him. Or Star-Lord. Star-Lord. I mean, Lisa said that Steve would be Doctor Strange. You agreeing there, Sens? Yeah. Sens agrees. But guys, if Chris Pratt were a cat, he'd be Hosanna. I really hope none of these really famous people are, by some miracle, watching and wondering. Actually, I really hope they are. I really hope they are. Yes, I almost feel as though Hosanna might be voiced by Chris Pratt in a movie about his life. I wish I hadn't parked here. I regret it. It's far too close to the carcass to be comfortable with the fact that the flies want to now sit on me. Alrighty. While we wait for lounging Chris Pratt, Hosanna, to get up and move about, off you pop across to the Mara, where David has switched out with Isaac. What a wonderful surprise.
Hello and welcome once again to the Mara, to the Masai Mara, the great Mara Triangle. I'm driving on one of the main roads that takes you from Olololo Gate all the way to the Mara Bridge. It's rather quiet, but the smell's beautiful, temperature. I cannot get better than this. It's not cold, it's not hot, just perfect. Only that there's nothing in front of me. I'm headed back towards where we've been, seeing that female lioness with her cubs, and I'm hoping to get there before we end the show. This is a road that I've driven many times, and it's always full of surprises. Sometimes it might look very empty, but all of a sudden something might pop up the road. Mind you, I don't know what's going to happen ahead. Yeah, but it's all beautiful. It's crescent moon tonight. Doesn't seem like we'll have rain tonight. Everything is just perfect. We're headed to the lioness. She's about 1.5 kilometers from where we are. And I'm hoping to find her out with her sister and maybe with the 3 little ones. That could be a perfect ending to the day. My favorite nocturnal animal is the honey badger. Rarely seen, one of its kind, and very few people have seen it. It's very widespread all over Africa, but very few people have seen it. A very ferocious carnivore. It can, withhold a lion. It has been known to stand its ground, fighting with lions, leopards. Ferocious little animal that feeds on mainly honey and small, reptiles like snakes and monitor lizards. Yes, the honey badger is my favorite animal. Continue on towards this beautiful lioness. It's nice to be driving on this main road. 15 plus years ago, this road was really bad. It used to be a nightmare driving here. You always, when it rained, you always hoped that you could get back home because it was black cotton soil, and with a slope like this, the water wasn't running properly, and all, the grass, we always used to get stuck here. But now driving at, about 35 kilometers an hour, it's really perfect. There's something in front of me. I don't know if you can see it. I was just telling you, this road can really surprise you, and I'm coming, to one of the big animals we find in the Mara Triangle. See what we just found for you, just like I was telling you. I think I'll stop here and let them be comfortable a little bit. There is one to our right here that is wanting to tell me that I'm not allowed to be here. That is a sign that he's not very happy with us. Hi, what's wrong with you? We don't mean no harm. We're just passing and you happen to be on our way. Yeah, elephants are usually active most of the day, up to 16, 18 hours of a day. And they always come closer to the road where there's less disturbance during the night, and all the grass that hasn't been utilized by other animals, they come to utilize it this time of night. And that's why in the morning when you come, you find lots of droppings along the road because they've been busy, grazing on the grass. He's coming again. He's definitely not happy with us. And that's a sign that's, telling me I'm not wanted here. But, cool down, little guy. We mean no harm. You can tell the brother there is not as worried as his older brother. He's sort of changed all of a sudden. I think he heard me talk about him. And he's going around. Looks like, actually he's not worried about me. He's more worried about his brother. They have a little standoff. That's a nice scene. Remember, it's night mode now. You can hardly see with the normal camera. We're using our infrared camera, and without this, we'd be, at home at the moment. But it's really nice to experience this kind of experience with using these special cameras. These two guys are sizing each other. You can tell, they really want to determine who's the boss, but at the same time they are worried about me being here. In front of us, there was a few more in the middle of the road. I don't know if we can see them. Maybe if I move forward a little bit, see if we can find them. It's pitch dark, so I have to put on my lights. They've moved a little bit away from the road. There's one to the left over here, another one over there, and there's another one to the right. Lily, I would say that's a very difficult question. It's yes and no. Younger ones tend to sleep a lot, but older ones doze off most of the time. It's very few times during my guiding time that I've seen big, fully grown elephants lying down. They usually find an incline and lie down. I think the main reason is they're too heavy. If they lie down flat, they risk not being able to stand or some of their organs collapsing. So they would prefer to, keep standing. And because, their digestive system is very poor, so it's hard for them to sleep most of the time. So they keep eating and eating and eating to compensate the poor digestive system. If you listen, you might hear them ripping the grass. Let's try and listen out. I don't know if you can hear. Very excellent. It's nice that you can hear that. That's them ripping the grass. Elephants are some of the biggest, one of the biggest animals we have, but they make the least noise. The only noise you hear when they are around is them, breaking down trees, debarking trees, ripping off grass. That's all you hear, and it's amazing. That's a beautiful little guy back there, staying very close to mommy, because he's not sure of this, this four-wheel drive animal, what it is. Maybe it's first time to see a vehicle, and he's trying to investigate. Using the trunk, he's trying to pick up our smell, and with the ears trying to listen. I think, she can hear me, and she's wondering, what are Homo sapiens doing here at this time of day? They don't see very well, so right now, 100% I don't think they see us, but they can hear us very, very well. You can tell that, he's showing me, the body language tells me that she is not happy, but she's not sure what to do. Yeah, that's, I think, auntie to the right over there. We call them aloe mothers, where, they are the ones that, help the mother to raise the young ones. And when they are within, you'll tell they're very comfortable being in the middle. Not a worry or a care in the world when they are, this auntie is around. Getting back to mommy again. I think she's gotten comfortable from us. Yeah. Okay, we get you, as we watch the elephants here, we take you back to Juma with Lauren driving down the road.
So, update, we did go and check one more time for the cheetah, and to no avail. We cannot seem to find them, which is so frustrating as they are so close. Oh, I think I've got a fly in my eye, which is fabulous. So again, we're going to continue doing one more loop. We haven't been so lucky with what we're spotting today. It has been a really quiet day, but in amongst all the superhero discussions, which went on for quite a while on this car, you would not believe, we did actually have a discussion about elephants, because we did sight some earlier, and I believe it's been quite a lucky day for elephants. We were speaking about how elephants are believed to be really, really, really intelligent. Now, it's really difficult when it comes to animal intelligence because we tend to put human qualities on it. So we tend to describe intelligence in ways such as emotional intelligence, spatial intelligence, verbal linguistic, or even analytical intelligence. And these don't apply to animals. So I don't actually believe there's a universal confirmed definition when it comes to measuring intelligence in animals, but one thing they do look at is obviously the brain to body size ratio. Now, me and Tristan were just having a discussion, and it is believed that elephants' brain is about 3 times the size of humans, but equal in terms of the proportion to their body. So obviously elephants are a lot bigger than us, so of course naturally their brain would be a lot bigger than us, and they are said to communicate in ways we don't really understand and emotional. So I did mention the other day that I was going to try and link my 2 environments that I know so well, the ocean and the bush. So although that might seem a bit bizarre at first, I think what happens a lot in conservation and education is we tend to focus. Ooh, that was a wonky turn. Nice one, Lauren. We tend to focus on one specific area or one specific animal or one specific ecosystem. What we kind of forget is everything is connected. So I did mention the other day that there is a famous quote that I just treasure by a lady called Sylvia Earle, that there would be no green without any blue. So we do heavily rely on the oceans. I'm going to try and provide more connections of this environment to the ocean. So, if the elephant has a very large brain to body size ratio, I'm going to ask you, here's the quiz. Can you tell me what fish, now I repeat, fish, not mammal, has the biggest brain to body size ratio? That is a quiz for you guys. So I will wait and see exactly what you all come up with. But I do repeat, it's fish, not mammal. So just make sure when you're giving me the answers that you're aware of that. I'm intrigued to see how many people can get this. Michelle, I thought we were going to get that answer of a whale, but a whale is a mammal. So yes, the sperm whale actually has the biggest brain, I believe, in the whole animal kingdom. And I think it can weigh up to 7 kilograms. Which is about maybe 5 times that of a human, I think. But again, sharks, for example, the great white shark has a very small brain. I think it only weighs about 35 grams. But yet they're incredibly intelligent. Dolphin, again, dolphin's a mammal. So think more along the lines of fish. And there's a lot of research going into those fish. And if anybody was a viewer of Dive Live, you may actually know this already, and you may actually know that it is one of my favorite animals. Here's a wee clue. And there is a lot of studies going into this animal and its social ability and skills. Marlin cupcake. Okay, no, that's not the one I'm looking for. They are incredible predators, but they're very fast. Yes, they're very fast and incredible, but they're not the one I'm looking for with the brain to body size ratio. Oh, that octopus, that's an interesting one. So they don't have the largest brain. Apparently they've actually got a really small bird-like brain. But 2/3 of their brain is actually dispersed amongst their 8 legs. So that brings you to the point they're incredibly intelligent. They're said to be one of the most intelligent animals on the planet, but yet they have a small brain that's scattered all along their legs. So that brings you to the question, is it such a good idea to describe intelligence just on brain to body size ratio? So we still haven't got it yet. Keep searching. Tristan, do you have any idea? No. He said no. Craig? No.
Any guess?
A parrotfish. Parrotfish are very awesome. We saw a lot of them on Dive Live, but no, that's not the one I'm looking for. So when I say fish, it's actually the broader category of fish. So, shall I tell you the answer? Tristan's getting a little bit closer. Tristan got it right. So it's a manta ray. there's 2 species of manta ray, and hopefully some of the viewers got that one. They are classified as fish. So sharks and rays are actually classified in the big grouping of fish, and the manta ray actually has the largest brain to body size ratio, and they're even said to be able to recognize people's eyes. So there was a study done where they blindfolded people with tinfoil, I think, and they had people that weren't blindfolded, and the mantas were able to recognize and respond to the people that weren't blindfolded. So yes, that's part of the quiz, and there will be more ocean-related quizzes coming up. But good job, everyone. Oh, no one got that answer. Oh, okay, yes. I managed to scupper you all. But it just goes back to the whole fact that we were talking about elephant intelligence. And one of my favourite animals out here, so FYI, the manta ray is my absolute favourite animal in the world. But out here, I've been really taken by the hyenas. And it's even said that they are to be on par with primates. Now, there is a little bit of a debate about that, but they are said to also be incredibly intelligent. So that was the fact of the day. So after all that, we are going to loop back round to the cheetah area, and you never know if we might catch them. But while we do that, let's go across to Jamie with another sleepy but very smart cat.
You good? All right, while Lauren moves back. While Lauren moves back, we had a very brief, very special visitor in the form of Corky, who wandered through, but she was so far away and she was gone so quickly that I didn't try and follow her, because I think she's going to walk straight back to the den at Little Gowrie. So I moved back, sort of under the impression that Hosanna would get up when he saw the hyenas and move towards his kill and start feeding again. But to be honest, he is so fat that he actually has no intention. So now I've just put myself in a position where you can't even see his face, which isn't exactly ideal. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to shuffle around, and we're going to see if we can get a better position on where he's lying. He doesn't show any sign of moving anywhere anytime soon. Let me just move back a bit. I'm going to go around and back through the trees there. Well, let's squeeze past the gardenia. Uh-oh. Watch out, Sens. You good? Superhero? Not ideal. Now, Mario, a very warm welcome. You want to know how it is that hyenas always find Hosanna. They have incredibly sensitive senses of smell and incredibly good hearing. So there's a very good chance that if he kills something without doing it silently... I didn't stall. That was not me stalling. Whoops. Very good chance that if he didn't manage to kill that kudu silently, that they would have actually heard it. So essentially what happens there is that there's hyenas pretty much everywhere on Djuma, particularly while there's a den site on Little Gowrie. They rest up in their favorite drainage lines around here. Doesn't mean that they're spending all their time on Little Gowrie. They will be here, and they probably at some point heard it. If not, they of course have phenomenally good senses of smell. So there's a chance that the smell of the kill wafted across to them. Yesterday was very hot indeed, so the carcass started to get rank quite quickly. So the spell would have carried. Now, we can talk about this in greater depth a little bit later. For now, the wonderful Isaac has actually managed to find you something special in the Mara, and I don't want to keep you away from it for too long.
Whoa, look what we just found. This is the third time that we came here, and they finally came out for us. These little bundles of joy have come out for us. It is pitch dark, and what we're using is the infrared cameras, so we are not affecting these little guys at all. Yeah, if you see the third one over there, he's not aware even if we're here. He's very busy with his mother's titties, getting as much as possible while the brothers are away. This is the same female that my fellow guide David showed you earlier, and now she's gone in the crevice over there where there's a nice soft grass. I think she made a call and they all came out. We didn't see that, but we just happened to come back because we knew they were going to come out, and we found them. Remember, this is one of the Olololo Pride members. She was with her sister yesterday. We haven't seen the sister today. I cannot agree with you more. They are, the most cutest things you can want to see at this time of night. I think they can see us because lions have got amazing sight at night. They have what is called tapentum lucidum, which amplifies the bit of light that we can see up to 10 times, and they can see even quite well. These two guys are they don't know much what's going on around them. All they need to do is eat and play. You can tell that one is biting its mom tail. This is how they start sharpening their muscles, strengthening their muscles. Oh, the other one has gone for second sitting. The third one has joined. Right now, they're 100% dependent on their mother's milk up to the age of around 2 months, when they'll be introduced to their first meat. And the more they eat once they've been introduced to the meat, the less they drink. But if they don't get meat, then they'll continue drinking up to the age of around 6 to 8 months. This is a very special sighting. You don't always see this, so we are very, very fortunate to have these little guys, very close to us. Juma, I don't think it's that good when they're very young, but from the age of around 14, I would say it's much better. But at the beginning, it's not as good, because you always see when they're very young, they'll try and stay at something so that they can focus on it. You can tell that little guy is trying to dominate the teat by pushing off his brothers. There are 4 teats, so they should be enough for everybody, but I think the angle she's lying in, it's not possible for the young one to get to the teat below. They've been around this area for about 5 days now, and sooner or later she will have to move them. The reason is, when their scent becomes too strong, it can attract other predators, and that could mean the end of them if the mother is not around. So she will have to move them every couple of a week, 2 weeks. She will have to move them. But right now they're quite mobile, so she might end up picking one with her mouth, which is a very gentle bite behind the neck, and then the others will follow. Usually she would have picked a place within 10 days of where to move them next. Very smart, because she knows her surroundings. Yeah, everybody's enjoying the milk. Right now it's very rich because it's the first few weeks since they were born, so it's very rich milk, which they need to gain weight and grow fast. Yeah. I'm sure that guy is listening to me. We haven't sexed them yet, but in the next few weeks we'll be able to tell you what they are, either males or females. Usually it's very hard to tell the ratio. Sometimes they're born mixed genders, sometimes females, sometimes males. You can tell she hasn't eaten by her belly. It's not as full, so she will need to eat in the next few days, and I'm sure she's going to give them as much milk as possible, and maybe later on venture out to go and find something to eat so that she can provide them with milk in the next coming days. They will do that, then drink and then play a little bit, go back for more, and the same goes on until she leaves. Yeah, thank you for your question. It is very hard to say, if they are going to reach adulthood or not. Infant mortality is very high during the first few months, but once they make it to up to 1 year, then they might make it. But it's very hard to say they're all gonna make it. I would say maybe of these three, maybe one will reach to adulthood. But who am I to say anything? Maybe we live, to see them grow up to adulthood, all of them. You never know. Yeah. You can tell this little guy. Yeah, this little guy is enjoying his milk. Yeah, we're gonna link you down to Jamie with his leopard, which is one of the big five, while we see what's happening with these guys.
Awesome. How amazing was that? I'm so excited for the Olololo lady with her tiny babies. Not quite as exciting as, or perhaps more exciting than the Hosanna sighting. It's always great to see him. So I'm happy to see him fat and content, well fed, panting away, snapping at flies. Silly boy. Get him. Get those flies. Go on. Gotta be quick, Hosanna. It's amazing he can move at all. Oh, there we go. That's what we were waiting for. No, that's not what we were waiting for at all. There's still actually quite a significant chunk of meat attached to those ribs that Goli showed you earlier, tucked up in the tree. There, you can see it. There are the ribs over there, what remains of the kudu. And then sort of a bit further up, tucked into the fork, is nice big clump of meat there. I wonder if he's going to eat it at all. I've got a funny feeling he's not. I think he's going to leave it tonight. And I think he's going to move on. It's exactly what he did with that bush buck. His hunting skills are extraordinary. I've got no evidence for this, but I suspect that Hosanna's success rate is significantly higher than that of, say, Tandi or Tingana, just in terms of his attempts and his successes. I've got no evidence. It's just sheer observation. I think that being young and strong and full of energy, maybe he's just making more attempts, I suppose, which is also a possibility because he is young. So maybe the success rate is the same. He's just more diligent about it. But he really is doing incredibly well. Flies. They're driving you mad, boy. I'm glad I moved as well, because they were driving me mad too. At least we can see the top of your head. The entire time that we've been sitting here, the starlings have been constant. I don't know if they have a nest perhaps in the leopard orchard that's on the other side of us, but they have been chirping away. Now there's a cuckoo joining in as well. Lots of nice sounds. Ruined slightly, I feel, by the buzz of those large flies moving around. Now, apparently Senzo said that when I was repositioning and talking about how the hyenas found Hosanna, there was a hyena behind us that I didn't even notice. It's moved off again, unfortunately. Now, Moki wanted to know about the bird calling in the distance. I assume you're talking about, wait for it, that one. That one is a Birchall starling, and as I said, I think they might have a nest somewhere around here, possibly in the dead tree. I assume that's the one that you're referring to. The cisticulars have gone quiet now, and I can hear a pearl-spotted owl far in the distance, pearl-spotted owlet whistling away. There's some francolin. There's some painted reed frogs. So not birds at all, but frogs. And then there's flies. And other than that, it's actually quite quiet. Imagine how irritating that must be on his fur. Alrighty, Hosanna is not up to too much. Fortunately, Isaac in the Mara has those amazing lion cubs for you, and we don't want to keep you from them for too much longer.
Still same spot. Actually, they just moved. Since we went off air, they have been suckling, and everybody was attached to his or her own teat. That one is in the very wrong place. Yeah, she's been drinking, and now you can tell, very content, but still looking for another teat that hasn't been utilized. This Lily, lionesses can give birth to up to 4 cubs, but in the first birth they might give birth to 2 or 3. Experienced females give birth to up to 4, but it's very rare. Usually 3 is the most. Yeah, that guy has had his fill, and now he's actually heading towards where we are. Luckily he cannot climb up because there's almost a 1 meter drop from where we are. So I would like him actually to stay down there. I don't want him, coming up here because I would prefer him to be with his mother. But he can tell he's inquisitive. It's pitch dark, but he can listen and see me, maybe because of our small lights that we have around the car. You can tell that he is very comfortable. The second one has had his fill, and you can tell the belly. Look at the belly. It looks like he's swallowed a soccer ball. This is what they will do the whole night: drink, rest, go back and drink, rest, go back and drink, and it will go on until the mother decides to go. You can tell now he's very full. He's almost he can hardly breathe, so he has to lose all the excess heat and digestion through the mouth. The excess heat, to help him digest faster through the mouth. At this age, usually they are very playful, the cubs. So I'm looking forward to seeing them, interact in the next few minutes, because usually that's what they do after having their fill. That is a very nice area that the mother chose, because there's a lot of hiding places. To the right, there is a bank. In front of her, there is a drop-off. Where the little cub is, towards us, there is also a little hiding place. So it's a, well hidden place away from, wind, direct sunlight during the day. So it's perfect, This is an experienced female. we can tell by, where she gave birth that, she's actually very experienced. It's not her first bath, maybe the second or third bath. It is hard to believe that, these little, bundles of joy one day will be killers. They will be going out for big animals as big as buffalo, hippo, giraffe. But right now, you'd think, they're harmless. Yeah, as we continue enjoying this, guys, we'll take you back to Jamie with Osana up a tree.
We made it. We made it for once. Cole's Law did not manage to get us. For those of you who missed it, Cole's Law was a name suggested by one of our viewers this morning for when we miss something that is about to happen because we don't quite get there in time. Here it goes. Come on, Hosanna. Oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Cole's Law is going to get us. What? He's going to jump from there. What on earth? Now we're right behind the bush. No, Hosanna, you have to climb the tree trunk. He is going to jump. As soon as I move the car, Murphy's Law, he's going to jump. What do you think, Sens, if I try go backwards quickly? Because I think he's going to try and grab it out of the tree that way. He doesn't seem to know it. No, surely not. Okay. Hosanna, stop being a little fool. Climb up the normal way. No, he is. He's gonna go up the bush, Willow. Surely not. Just climb the big trunk. It's curved perfectly. It's the easiest climb in the world. Or are you just trying to get an appetite? There we go. There we go. Come on, that's the way. There we go. That was definitely easier than the way that you were contemplating, Hosanna. Silly boy. Beautiful. Oh, is there a better way to end an evening than with a leopard in a tree? I really don't think so. I'm staying where I am for now, because I'm not quite sure where he's going to start feeding. He appears to be trying to reposition the car because he's also disturbed all the flies, which have been sitting on rotting meat. There we go. I think it's going to go that way. Oh, did you get a couple of flies in your mouth there, my boy? Yuck. Yuck. Okay, now I can move. Now I can move. I moved at such high speed to try get us into place. I took half the tree with me. Here we go. Where's this tortoise? It's giving me the heebies. It's still in there, huh? Yeah, it's not in front of me. I'm not going to. That was a branch. Nobody panic. It was a branch. There we go. Oh. You're now going to take it to the other side. How are you going to find room in that belly? I'm impressed. I'm seriously impressed. Whoo! How's that smell treating you there, Senzo? Let's just see how it plays out. I think he's just going to settle in for a jolly good feed here towards the end of our sunset safari. I think he's found his place in the tree. I was sort of imagining that he was going to dangle from the carcass at one point. But it looks as though he's found his place for dinner time. Bravo, boy. And so, just like that, it remains to be seen whether or not he will be here tomorrow for the sunrise safari. I suspect he won't have moved too far. But can you believe that does bring us to the end of this afternoon's sunset safari? And we look forward to seeing you once again tomorrow for the sunrise safari, where all sorts of magical things happen as dawn breaks over the African wilderness. Thank you for joining us, everyone. It's always the most important part is our interaction with you. We'll see you then. For now, have a good day.